You've all, through various means, been accepted/invited to study at the Magical School of Strixhaven.
So you said there's people standing around with notes? All right, now that I've got a raffle ticket, what am I supposed to do with it?
Oldest trick in the book. Can I see that to know whether I recognize it?
Awesome. I'm Campy, the campus guide. And he's hanging out with both his mother and his
beard
father.
was not canonical.
You sent me a picture of Millhouse Matterstorm, bitch. You look like Millhouse Matterstorm.
What's your connection?
with old Strixhaven.
Old Strixhaven.
There's plenty of resources here for you to research that artifact you found. But they study some frankly crazy shit here.
I understand, Fennel.
And you kind of hear a noise playing deep in your mind.
Hey, Gobble, is this coming through? Can you hear me? Look, it's me, Pernicious Nubenti, your patron.
The person that rolled a 1 at the start of the campaign. We're gonna go.
Let's go.
That you walk past the engraved sign that says "School Bus."
Does that school bus have an E at the end?
Yeah, yes, it is. It is like ye olde school busty by what appears to be a little metal man. Hi, I'm Campy, the campus guide. Have I frightened you?
How gets you? Me standing at the door trying to steal someone else's letter.
You do see eventually what appears to be a small gnomish girl.
I've got forgery tools. How hard do I think it would be to make a fake one of these?
Please present your number as you will be sorted into groups for the orientation challenge. You are all together in the same group.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what are the odds?
What are the odds?
It's yeah, we're very lucky on this one.
It's crazy that we all pulled 52.
Hey, Caleb, what race are you? I can't, tell from your...
I'm a Goliath. You look up.
Yeah, you have to look up.
Look up. Don't quite know how to say this, but... Because, what are you?
He's the biggest goblin I've ever seen.
11. So you join Gobble.
I can't say I feel as...
So, Roderick, you walk in and you see all 3 of your compatriots all kind of sensually rubbing a plaque.
As someone who can understand every 10th word of German, it goes a lot further than you think it does.
I shoot you with my bow.
You see his face drop immediately. It is an image of pure disgust.
Oh, are you from the West Midlands as well?
That I am, young man. That I am. You're Gobble the Great, Tom.
Right. Yeah?
If you couldn't man a cash register, how will you ever live up to Squee the Immortal's memory? Mimic!
Turning into a bear.
Mm-hmm. At the very bottom of the actual briefcase itself, in both, there's a small little puddle of what's like a sort of like a little black oil.
Phyrexian oil at the bottom of the briefcases.
You have completed orientation 5th out of all groups. Gobble the... Oh no. Your Pernicious Nubenti's recommendation.
I will say this, you've got some high aura.
Okay, well, we are all here.
Are we though?
We're all here. We're all here in spirit. I'll just quickly recap what we did last session. I nearly just moved the entire map. Didn't mean to do that. All right, so we did all your introductions. Everyone got introduced. We did your first day at the Strixhaven orientation ceremony, where you guys came, I believe, 7th? 5th or 7th?
I think it was 5th.
Yeah, probably 5th probably sounds more right. So you were the 5th fastest team. So not exactly on the podium, but doing pretty well. Who did we meet? We met Mavinda Sharpbeak, the guidance counselor, who is a Silverquill aligned professor. We met
second year girl.
We met random second year girl that doesn't have a name. We met Quintilius Antiphian Melental III, member of the Play Actors Drama Guild. We met Cataris Dalamois, who is a member of the Larpers Guild. We met him. We met Penny Feather Gobbleglap, little gnomish wizard that Gobble met and talked to twice. High School Crush, maybe, who knows? We'll see. And yeah, so you've all been given your dorm rooms, and we're gonna run you guys just really quickly meeting your dorm mates. We'll do what we did last time. Everyone roll a d20. Do not add any modifiers, and we see what order we do this.
6.
5. 1. That's a good start.
I thought I was like...
I think I rolled a 1 last
You
time.
did. You
Maybe
one last.
Maybe I'm going first with a 6.
Tom's
I
got a 10. Tom's got a 10.
I did not think 10 was going to be a high roll here.
Don't worry, Steph. You're getting out of your system. You're getting out of your system.
Yeah, I can.
I got a
sure.
2.
You got a 2. Fuck yeah, guys. Go to 10 winning. All right.
And this is not like first round of combat. You all miss.
You just get killed. All right, so we'll port over to the central campus map, and we're just going to be
That counts as a D20 check, right?
like a skill check.
Can I portent Tom's to 4?
Let's not.
No, I'm going to say no.
What do you want to do?
He's
I
a
wanted to
divination
portent
wizard.
yours to 4 so that I high rolled with the 6.
I'll say no, but good thinking. I like the effort. So we're vaguely here. This is just like a general, because none of you are college aligned yet, so you've all just got like general common room sort of dormitories. So we cut to Gobble. Gobble, he's got his little bag that's got his little forgery tools in it. You were given back your forged note, by the way, so you do have that back in your possession.
Are there any comments on it?
No, it's not graded or anything, but when it was read, it was just like a, why did you do this sort of thing. So you're wandering in, you don't have that many possessions, you don't have that much money or, food. What did Gobble think after his first day? What's his mindset at?
He's going to take the school by storm.
He's going to take the
Big
school
plan.
by storm. Mhm.
He's got big plans.
Okay.
You know what the school needs? A gambling ring.
You want to run a gambling ring? Well, we'll see about
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
So as you're going back, so do you have anything specific you want to do before you go to your dorm room?
No, not.
Okay, so you're looking, within a row, like on a little like post-it note where your dorm room is. You're wandering in. Can I get a perception check as you're kind of going past all these new students?
I think. Oh wait, I'm not the worst at that. Crit. 22.
A crit. Okay. So as you're walking down a hallway, there's several students. You see like a giant guy who looks like he's a bull. You see like a little blue, sort of like little lizard-looking guy wearing a cowboy hat. They appear to be roommates. And you come to the room, and just before you like enter the door, your ears prick up, and you hear the sound of what appears to be singing in a language that you don't really understand. And you get like a cold shiver down your spine. I'll get you to roll a very, very easy history check.
21.
You have heard this voice before.
Is this my boy?
You're breaking in a little bit of a cold sweat as you realize on the other door, the door that is labeled yours, we're going to go with its room 201. You can hear Quintilius on the other side practicing.
Can I get a spelling for that? Can you add a
You want me to spell
spelling?
to Quintilius? I'll copy that out of
Can
my
you put it in
notes.
Discord so I can add it to my I don't want. I've got one ally and one enemy so far.
Okay, I'll post it in chat. There you go. That's how you spell Quintilius. Do you want his full name? I'll give you his full name. You'll be in here.
Well, actually, my enemy is the LARPer boy. That's the only person I put as enemy.
I'll give you both the names. I realistically should have written them down before. Quintilius
You know what I don't
and
get?
Tifian Melentor. Okay, so what do you do? Faced with the opposition at the other end of the door is either your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. You can choose. What do you do? What do you prep for?
I'm going all in. Quintilius loves me. He'll do whatever I want.
Okay, so he's going to open the door dramatically. Big swing.
Do I have the spell that I want?
No, you don't have
I do.
thaumaturgy to open doors, unfortunately. You'll have to
kick
do
it
manually.
open.
You kick it open. Can I have an athletics check?
Oh, I'll never fumble this. Oh, 14. That's not too bad.
14, not
That's not
bad.
too bad.
So the door wasn't entirely closed, so the door just kind of like smacks against like the wall and kind of like not perfectly because the door kind of like slowly starts closing on you again. It looks like it's about to like, cover you, so you put your hand out and stop it. Quintilius is there. He's finishing a sonnet and he's kind of surprised and he sees you and his face, like the biggest smile you've ever seen. And he goes, "Is that you, Gobble the Great?"
Oh, the one and only. Is that my man Quintilius?
Indeed it is. And he comes up to you and he like motions for like a high five.
Yeah, high five.
All right, boom. There's a big high five. There's good energy. And he's like, "So, are you my roommate, are you?"
Well, would you want anyone else?
Exactly, I would not want anyone else. Now, as I was saying before, the Play Actors Drama Guild could really use a guy like you. Would you be interested in coming along to a meeting?
I think I'm down for this. I'll come along. How many people are in this drama club?
Let me have a quick think. I know of at least 3, but they're all first years. So we're gonna go with
way more.
No, there's probably about 30 overall because most of the first years haven't picked a club yet. Quintilius he joined the school and immediately joined the club. He's out of the ordinary. So we're saying at the moment there's currently 30 people in the club.
All right, I can work with this.
Okay. All right, cool. So he invites you to do that, and so maybe during your first phase, you might end up during the extracurricular going to the drama guild. Who was next on the order? Was it 6?
Yeah.
All right, Millhouse Manostorm, as he is referred to. So Millhouse just had his first day, very different than his quaint life out on the outskirts. You've also experienced your first ever true violence that you've ever seen in your life, and you had to participate in. What are you feeling? How are you feeling? Right
I was
now?
terrified. That was horrible. That is not what I thought I was signing up for. I thought I was coming here to study at a magic university and get one foot in the door into a better life. But
you ended up fighting chests instead.
I ended up fighting fucking briefcases, bro.
Which is it was not on your agenda.
Yeah, very much so.
Anything you would like to do really quickly before you end up going to your door room?
Still same day of fight?
So, yes, it's the ending half of the day. We'll say you guys went, you had your free tea and your free sandwich,
Yeah, you got the jitters down.
Got the jitters down. So this is like we're going to like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. right now.
Yeah, okay. I assume a teacher was like, oh, the dorms are over there, and I probably would have just gone straight there.
Yeah, you've been given your dorm number, which is 206. Same thing. You kind of walk past this scene, so you see Gobble kick a door down. He panics as it starts closing, and you see him walk in, and you hear while you're walking past, he's been stuck with Quintilius.
I shake my head as I'm walking past.
So yeah, there's a bit of relief that it wasn't you that was stuck with Quintilius. Can I get a perception check as you're walking up to your room?
14 plus 2, 16.
16. So as you're approaching your room, you kind of hear. So you're standing in front of the door. The door is entirely closed. You hear like the rattling of what sounds like bits of plate armor sort of overlapping and kind of shuffling together. Like in just like a clink, clink, clink sort of noise coming from inside the room.
I'll just open it like a normal fucking person.
Of course. No skill check needed. The door opens up. So standing before you is a large. Has Millhouse ever seen a Loxodon before, an elephant man?
I'm from Arcavios. I reckon it's not.
It's not
unlikely.
impossible. You would have seen them before. So you're seeing this sort of very large-looking elephant man. He's got, very sort of like little bits of tuft of hair on his head that aren't fully grown out. He's got a really big trunk, and he's covered head to toe in plate armor. And he's got a giant great sword on his back. And you see, as you walk in, he seems to be like fiddling around with his trunk. And he seems to be pulling out what appears to be like a large chess set, and he's like laying it down on like a little table. And he turns around and he sees you, and he has like a big grin on his face. What do you do? What do you say?
Hi. Are you my roommate?
Now I have to decide how he talks.
That wasn't an elephant trunk. Sorry. That was I thought there'd be more reverberation there, and there was 0.
We'll just go with he has a relatively deep voice for his build. So he's like, yes. Are you my roommate by chance?
I would like to remind you, I am like 3 foot tall.
Yeah, and he is about 8
Staring
foot tall.
up at this Loxodon.
He is gigantic compared to you.
Yeah, he's 4 times my height. Sorry, what was the trail of the sentence?
So he's just asking if you were his roommate.
I got this number, yeah.
206?
206, yeah.
Excellent. My name is Bedum Suviji, but you may call me Rampart.
Nice to meet you, Rampart. I'm Millhouse.
Now, good to meet you, Millhouse. I suppose they paired us together because of the size difference.
Makes for a comedic pairing.
Now, would you like the bottom or top bunk?
The top bunk would take a while for me to get to.
Very well.
That on the top bunk.
I assume they're reinforced. I don't think they'd let a Loxodon be in the room with the bunk bed if it
I'll
could
get you
not
to roll
support
an
it.
investigation check.
21.
The bed is a very solid like iron and frame, so it should
It'll be
very
fine.
easily support his weight. Yes.
Then yeah, I'd definitely prefer bottom.
Very well. I shall take the top bunk. By any chance, what classes are you studying this semester?
I've got intro to archaeomancy. I'm trying to see which one is my line on the the one that has no names. Let me go
Yours
up.
yours is the middle one. You're the middle one.
History of magic and art and illusions.
I see. We have 2 classes together, my friend. Both History of Magic and Art and Intro to Archaeomancy.
Oh, well, maybe we can go there together.
That would be most affordable and efficient, my friend. So yeah, it's a pretty good start. You got a big Loxodon roommate. He appears to be heavily into physical activity. But yeah, you do notice that he has a bit of a penchant for chess. He's a big chess buff.
Chess canonically exists.
It's
What
dra-
openings
it's
does he
called-
play?
It's dragon chess in D&D specifically, which I think is a
But
form
it
of-
is just chess, isn't it?
I think it's a form of 3-dimensional chess. I could not play a game. We would be running just skill checks.
Yeah, no, fuck no.
Okay, so we'll cut there and we'll go to the next person on the tier. So who is below Jasper? Is that Roldrick with the 5?
Yeah.
Awesome. So it's a very similar thing. So Roldrick's at his first day. He's met several races of people he's never seen before in his life. Roldrick, however, is he's no newcomer when it comes to combat. So he's been fighting things out in the wilds for quite a while. How was Roldrick feeling after his first day?
Fine. Just another Tuesday.
Just another Tuesday. Awesome. Anything you would like to do before you go and find your room?
Why the
No, I
fuck did
think
the
I'm
school
good.
year start on a Tuesday?
I don't know,
The
man.
plate of
That is
calendar, I don't
strange.
know.
The Plato calendar. It's all kinds of messed up. Post mending? Nah, they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it. I couldn't figure it out. All right, cool. So you'll end up going to find your room. So your room is actually 235. So you're actually quite further down. Similar thing. You're all entering you all came as like a group, and you all like sort of split off to your room. So you watch the other two meet. So you see that you are not paired at the minimum with Quintilius. What is the feeling that washes over Roldrick with that information?
Like a sense of dread has like completely vanished. He's like, the last thing I want to do is deal with that pompous prick.
So he's like, it can't get any worse. We're at the minimum.
It can't.
The worst possible
gotta
option
be
has been
better.
removed. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come up to yours. I'll get you to roll a perception check as well.
13.
13. So as you're approaching your room, obviously there's less people down this end of the dormitory because this appears to be the area where specifically 2 big individuals are sharing a room. So there's a little bit more space down this end. So as you're approaching, you kind of get like a waft of a smell. It kind of smells like vaguely like roots, a bit of moss maybe. Sort of like natural decomposing elements is the smell that you're getting. And as you approach your door, you notice that it is like kind of shut entirely, and it appears to be locked, and you don't currently have a key yet.
Right.
So what do you
I'm gonna
do?
knock.
Okay, so as you knock on the door, you kind of hear like the creaking sound of wood, creaking sound of roots, and you kind of see a shadow, just like there's a little line underneath the door where like the light's kind of coming through. The shadow gets entirely blocked off. You hear like a noise as the door gets unlocked, and it slowly opens to reveal what looks like to you as just a tree. You've got like a massive man that is made out of gnarled roots. It appears to be some kind of tree folk, and he's standing in front of you, covering the entire doorway.
I am going to, in Druidic, say good afternoon.
So he goes, and he responds in kind, in Druidic, good afternoon. Can I
look down at
help you?
I look down at my piece of paper that has my room number on it, and then I turn around and show them. I'm like, I believe we are roommates.
And so he has a look at the piece of paper and he goes, It appears we are. Please come in. So he's talking like with a very slow cadence. Every word sort of methodically thought out before spoken, and he kind of shifts a little bit back into the room so you can actually get in. So where you are, there is one iron bed that has not been touched, and on the other side there is actually just like a patch of soil. So there's no bed there in particular. It's all just like a little garden bed that someone's installed in place of a bed, and that appears to be where this guy is standing. That appears to be his spot. What is your name?
I am Roldrick Stonekeeper.
I am Melwathorn. It is nice to meet you. I will send it to you.
Yeah, can you send me mine?
Yes, I can send you.
I know
yours.
it's Rampart, but
yeah, luckily his thing specifically says he has a name that he just goes, call me Rampart because it's easier. So that is yours, Jasper, and this is Caleb's. I'm just going to include the description in it as well.
Yo, he's a silk ball guy.
He's a silk ball guy.
A dryad?
Indeed, I am a dryad. You are giant kin?
I am, yes.
I see. We will do well together.
There's been a long-standing communion between our kinds.
Indeed there has. Indeed there has. Roldrick, was it? You must forgive me, I am slow with common names.
Of course.
The name in my language takes 10 minutes to pronounce.
I'll wait.
Have you considered talking quicker?
If Roderick wants to stand there while he, for 10 minutes straight, speaks his name in his native tongue, you can. Would you like to, Caleb?
I'll do that. I won't dishonor this man.
Are you going to try and remember the name?
I'll try.
I'll get you to roll a history check to try and remember Melwathorn's true name.
21.
21. As you said, the relationship between the Goliaths and the tree folk is a long-standing. Although, the pronunciation might be different than others you might have met in the past, you know that this is a very important thing to them to be called by their true name. He's making an effort to let people call him Melwathorn. If he could, in his ideal universe, everyone would call him by his true name, but he knows that the mortal realm doesn't move that fast. Or that slow.
Of course. Limited lifespans and all.
Exactly. So it looks like overall you and Melwathorn will probably get on pretty good. Yeah, you both seem to have sort of like a wildling background. Obviously he's a giant tree man, you're a giant man. It's probably going to work well. At least that's the vibe that you immediately get. Cool. What did Mitch roll?
A 2.
A 2. Oh, well, that's
higher than a 1, notably.
All right, we'll cut over to Valafork. Mitch, Valafork's just had his first day. How's he feeling after all the riddles and meeting his teammates and
the buzzing of the city life seems very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to trying everything I can, getting as much out of my time here, and trying to understand how I laser beam to counter death.
Exactly. So yeah, you're like, I'm excited to be here. This is the experience I've been hoping it would be. Things are interesting, and I hope I can figure out my sorceress origin.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything you would like to do before you go to your dorm room?
No, I'm buzzing to see who I've been paired with.
Okay, so I'll get you to roll a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All right, so as you're walking past, you're seeing all these funny characters. You're seeing the little blue kobold with cowboy hat. You see Gobble make his introductions, so you know at the minimum you're not with Quintilius as well. You walk by. Yeah, well, because if there's one guy that everyone met and made a judgment of immediately, it was Quintilius. Also, you're one of the earlier rooms in the lineup, so people have to walk past your room. So you'll get to room 208, Mitch.
Yeah.
And I'll get you to roll. Did you roll perception already?
Dirty 20.
dirty 20, not bad. So you can hear what appears to be a very soft strumming of like a lyre coming from your room. The door is wide open as you walk up, so you hear the lyre as you're approaching. As you turn, you see a face that you know quite well, at least compared to everyone else. You see Cataris Delmois sitting there, stroking his lyre. What do you do? That's the LARP.
Stroking his what?
He's stroking his lyre. He's got his door open. He's straight stroking it.
Stroking that shit.
I see I'm not roommate with a complete stranger, it seems.
Ah, it's you, Valafork. Excellent, excellent. Are you my roommate by chance?
I believe so. I pull out my number. this time the room number, and I only got one.
I am on team 50 either.
I only got one room number, so yes, I think I am paired with you.
Excellent, awesome. We already know we're gonna get on together.
Ooh, there might have been some unfortunate events throughout the rest of my day, where you're concerned.
He looks at like his ears prick him. And he's like, oh, and he like puts his lyre down. He's like, well, can you tell me about them? What happened?
Well, did you hear about the ruckus and monsters that appeared and we had to deal with?
I did. I heard you and your team defeated them all.
We did, but before that, I had an encounter.
With?
A charming individual that has swayed me to his cause.
Oh, and who would that be?
I think he goes by the name Quintilius. You've heard of him?
Oh, of course I know Quintilius. He's a good man. Great actor. Great actor. He refused to join the LARPers. I keep trying, but I can't really get through him. You know what I mean?
I know.
No, but he's great. I talk to him every chance I get.
Oh, yeah, me too. Especially since I'm probably going to join the theatre club after all.
Oh, are you? Well, that's great. I mean, of course, I would love for you to join the LARPers Guild, but you know...
One-sided beef.
No, it's a completely one-sided beef. Quintilius despises this man's existence. This guy's like, oh, Quinty's great. Love that guy. I love him to bits.
I'm sure if I get to know him better, I'm sure I'll invite him round to our room all the time.
Oh, please do. Please do. I'm sure he would love that. We could all hang out and maybe we could play a bit of role-playing together. You know, we could... Because he's an actor. You know, it's very similar. He might get on with it.
I'm sure Quintilius would love to hear how similar these two things are.
Well, exactly. In fact, you know what? Next week, let's invite him round. Once we've all settled in.
Did you want the top or the bottom bunk?
Oh, I don't particularly mind. What would you prefer?
Coin flip for it.
Of course. Roll evens or odds. Your evens.
Roll 1d2. 1. Odds.
All right. Well, that is then established.
What was it? I'm very confused. What are we?
Your evens.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
Mitch, he explained it. Your evens.
Yeah, no, well, whichever one you didn't. Well, you didn't really care. Actually, I suppose he would have had to make the call. True. Yeah, you both didn't give a shit. You both don't care. Then you rolled, and then you both realized that neither of you cared. So there was nothing on the line. We should probably establish which one is for the top bunk and which one's for the bottom.
Surely if it's after 2, 1 is bottom bunk, 2 is top bunk.
Yeah, but who flipped the coin?
I did. I flipped this coin.
Okay, so I suppose you're your bottom bunk then.
I'm bottom bunk. That's fine by me.
No worries at all. All right, and then we'll cut to the queen of the ones themselves.
Let's go!
Imagine having bunk beds.
Says the guy who sleeps next to a pile of soil.
Yeah, it's natural, you know.
This is the
Have you
first
got your
time
own
I
pile
will
of
have it.
soil?
We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. All right. So Yolan, so you how was your first day? So you've come from pretty much also not particularly violent upbringing, although you did have some martial traits from your time in your village. How are you experiencing after your first day, meeting your friends and fighting the chests?
Definitely overwhelmed. I'm ready for like a de-stress on the bed.
Yeah, it's time to lay flat and just rest for a bit. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you're given yours. Your room 303 because you're in the female dorm.
Yeah.
I'll get you to roll perception as you walk up.
Okie dokie. Let it not be a 1. Oh, 11.
11. All right, cool. So as you're walking through, so you notice a couple individuals as you walk by.
Sorry, I got confused between deception and perception. I'm having a night. Make that 13.
Okay. So you convince yourself as you're walking there, you see monsters everywhere, but they're actually normal people. They're students. So you see at least 2 different owl people walking around. You see a person that you vaguely saw Gobble to talking once, small little, gnome, little wizard-looking girl. So you arrive to your room, and as you arrive to your room, I'm just going to bring up your character's description again, make sure I know which one it is. You're with her. Pull this up. Go to this one. She is right here. No, don't show to players. That would have been fortunate. So you hear some sort of like slightly rhythmic humming. And like the sound of like scribbling upon parchment as you approach your dorm room. The door does appear to be closed.
I'll double check that I've got the right room before I knock. But you know when you like knock and stick your head in kind of at the same time?
Yep.
Yeah.
You've got the door slightly ajar, head poking through, bit of a knock. So you see sort of a girl that's bought obviously a lot of Silver Quill merch from like the merch store. She's got like a Silver Quill hat, but she's smiling at you quite like invitingly, and she says, "Oh, hi, are you my roommate by any chance?"
I would think so. I'm pretty sure I got the right room. I'm Yelan. What's your name?
Oh, I'm Mina Lee. Nice to meet you. So you're Yelan. Awesome. Where are you from? How old are you? Hobbies and interests, reason you signed up to Strixhaven. And you can see that she's like drafting like an sort of like an itinerary of like things to ask you and the information to write down. So she seems to be like a very prolific note taker.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, what were the questions again? I'm a bit frazzled today.
Oh, of course.
ASL.
Yeah, so I just want to know who you are, where you're from, your hobbies, which classes you've signed up to, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you're one of the kids that fought those chests today. Am I right?
Oh, yeah, I guess. They looked more like a briefcase than a chest.
Briefcase, that's different to the report I heard, and she licks her quill, and she starts scribbling. She's like a different set of notes on her desk, and you can see like a quick, just have a real quick perception check. Just another one real quick for me.
I'll remember to add 2 instead of -1 this time.
Of course, yep.
It's 15.
15. So yeah, you peer over her shoulder as she's like scribbling all this stuff down. So she appears to be writing at least like a rough draft of like what appears to be a newspaper article.
Okay.
So she, your immediate assumption from the amount of questions she's asked you and how interested she is, and she seems just to meet you immediately that she might be possibly a reporter for the school newspaper.
A first year. Are you a first year or?
Oh, I'm a repeat student actually of a first year.
Okay, fair enough. Couldn't get enough of it the first time around, eh?
I got so distracted breaking the big case of who stole Pessy the Pest last year that I forgot to attend my final exams.
Well, who did steal Pessy the Pest?
That question haunts me every day.
Oh.
I will find the answer. I will find out who stole Pessy the Pest, and I will bring them to justice.
Was Pessy the Pest returned?
He has been returned, but we don't know who stole him, and they could strike again at any moment.
They could.
What
if they stole the Silver Quill mascot? That would be terrible.
Do you think that's likely to happen? And she pulls out like another like note, like a series of notes, just like, why have you heard something? Like, is someone planning to steal the Silver Quill mascot? Is that going to happen? Comments,
I don't think
thoughts?
so.
Comments, thoughts?
No comments. Thoughts?
No thoughts.
No comments.
Also very few.
Yelan failed to comment on the possibility of the Strixhaven mascot being stolen. Follow up. Awesome. So I think we're going to get along quite well. Sorry if I'm a bit high energy. I drink a lot of coffee.
And I look around. Can I do a perception check for empty cans?
No perception check needed. 3 empty pitchers of coffee.
Oh, wow. Okay, she is going to be a handful, isn't she?
She is going to be extremely high strung, and
okay.
But from your immediate reaction, good head on her shoulders, and she does seem to be quite nice. She's not. You've heard vaguely about the to phrase it commonly, the bitchiness of some Silver Quill students. She's not fitting that description at all. She seems to be quite nice.
Thank fuck. I think I need someone nice.
I did roll to see if anyone was going to get paired with an asshole. I was like, I wouldn't do it by default, but I will leave it up to the dice if someone gets paired with like Greg Jones, serial killer.
Thank fuck I didn't Greg Jones.
Greg Jones, man who stole Tessie the Pest.
I was going to say, Quintilius got paired with an arsehole.
Maybe you rolled bad. Okay, we'll sort of cut there. So now we kind of get into the education life of Strixhaven. I'm going to pull up my notes on the phase system.
I know you said cut there. I'm like, yeah, good session, guys.
Yeah, session ends there. So now we'll go with, so you've all picked your classes. That happens just before you went to your dorm rooms, just for ease of access. So you all know which classes you're attending to. So we're going to be working off of the 3-phase system. I'm going to post it in the chat again. I'm just going to post this picture. The 3 phases, the education phase, the extracurricular phase, and the event phase. So
welcome to my PowerPoint presentation.
Welcome to my PowerPoint presentation.
Star transition.
In this 4-hour audiobook series, we will discuss. So how it's going to work is, I think we're just going to keep doing this thing where we're going to roll the d20 to see if anyone particularly goes first, and then we'll sort of work backwards through there. So the person who's going first, let's run it live. So everyone roll a d20. We'll decide who goes first, and then the first person we'll use as the example.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. So
6.
Yolan got a 7, Jasper got a 6, Tom got an 8.
Oh,
we're going strong.
So it's...
We're going strong.
I got a 1.
Roger got an 11. Awesome. Man, the best roll is an 11 again. So we'll start with Roderick. So Caleb, here are your options. All right, so there are 3 phases. There's the education phase, which you can use to attend a class, research something. Basically, you can do anything vaguely related to education, or like an activity on campus that isn't a job or a club, right? So you can kind of pick what you're doing. I'll give you a couple of vague options. So you could attend one of your classes, but not do an exam for it. So, just throughout the week, you went to one of your classes and you could meet some people in the class, learn about what the class is about, possibly get some benefits, meet some new people, etc. Okay. In the extracurricular phase, you can either go look for a job because you don't have one yet, go to a club and see if there's a club you want to join. We do a bit of role playing of that. So it's kind of specifically for those 2 things. If you wanted to forego doing either of those and you had something else you wanted to do, you'd kind of do it in this phase. So if you didn't want to do either of that and instead you wanted to go looking for something in the Sedgemoor fucking marshes or whatever, you'd do it here. This is sort of a free space. If you have a job, you will need to sometimes devote time in this particular area to attending the job to make money. At least for this first one, if you want a job, you got to go to the job and apply for the job, and then we'll run through the job rules when that happens. But at the moment, no one has a job. And then there's the event phase. Ignore the event phase. We're going to do that at the end of like every, I think, 2 cycles of phases. That's when we do whatever the book has planned. That's similar to the Biblioplex, where there's a map, and we run through it like step by step, basically. Not on this thing is the class phase that I keep talking about. The class phase. I'll just type it in chat. This is when you're going to pick one of the classes that you attended that week, and you're going to sit like either a mini exam or an exercise where we're going to be rolling skill checks to see how you're doing in that class and if you get any benefits or negatives in relation to that, all right?
Right, okay.
Now, if you can pick whichever, ignore the event phase. I just couldn't be bothered changing that little slide to say class phase, because event phase always happens, and the group does the event phases together. Always. That's the version of the orientation where there's a map and we play normally. So you can pick whichever order you want to do these, but say if you want to do, say you want to do class phase first before the education phase. I don't know why you would, but say you wanted to. And let's look at your class list. So you are enrolled in Magic Physiologies, Arcanobotany for Beginners, Intro to Archaeomancy, Runes and Glyphs, and Ecology of Spirit. If you pick one of those classes and someone else shares that class with you and also wants to run that class this week, you both have to agree that you're both going to do it this week, and you have to pick where in the hierarchy it goes.
just a suggestion, if you're allowing us to do the education phase after the class phase, would that mean we could do class phase, education phase, class phase, and have 2 stacked buffs?
Yes.
For that second class phase?
Yeah, so let's say you went to Intro to Archimancy for your class and you roll the skill checks for that. And then this week
and then
next
you
week,
study Incomancy, and then you take Incomancy.
Yeah, it means the DCs for the skill checks and the next time you take the Incomancy class will be reduced twice compared to being reduced once. So if you had a class that you were enrolled in, but your skill set is not particularly good for, that might be a way to actually get you get good results in that class. But as we said, this is a test run. We see how it goes. If we think it's too complicated, I will slim it down. But we'll try it as it is today and see how we go. There's no way to know how it's going to go without playing it out. So yeah, what would you like to do, and what order would you like to do it?
Okay, well, I guess the education phase would probably be best spent. My brain is so flooded with information right now.
It is a lot to take. It is basically learning a new system of D&D.
Yeah.
The way I've been thinking of it is usually take the education phase first, then probably just the way I would recommend doing it is education, job, class.
Yeah, that does make sense to me.
That makes the most sense, but I'm letting people pick the freedom of doing it in other options, just in case it's more going to matter later when characters get fleshed out more and you've got people you want to see and maybe you've got things you need to do at certain times when you schedule it around differently.
Okay,
when we're doing the RPG part of the TTRPG.
Yeah.
I guess for the purposes of linearity and making it so that everyone understands the phases correctly, we may as well just run it through in order to start with.
Sure. So which during the education phase, what would you like to do? Would you like to research something specific? Would you like to go to a class?
My brain says for my particular character, he would either want to start researching his runestone or go to his rune class to get an understanding of said runestone. Although I feel like it's better to probably attend the class to get an understanding of where to start.
Okay. So you would like to spend the education phase attending runes and glyphs language of magic.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone else that is in runes and glyph language of magic, which is Valafork and Gobble, do you also want to attend that class or not worry about it and do something else with your action later?
Not worry about it.
Okay. Mitch, do you want to attend it or would you like to do something else later?
Something else later.
Someone else later, yes, sir. Okay, so we'll quickly run
Man skipping the first day of class.
He's skipping the first day of class. He's sleeping. Okay, so quick.
No, that's not first day of class. That's his finals.
So we're going to go quickly cut over to the runes and magic class. One second, I'm just going to go open my Google Documents, show outline. This is what I mean by like the sessions will be 2.5, but I think there'll be a session where we do mostly just class stuff, and then there'll be a session where we do adventure stuff.
Yeah. It's just my thought process is for Roderick, this is probably the single most important class for him.
Okay. So Roderick decides that he's going to attend one of the classes, Runes and Glyphs Language Magic.
Sorry to quickly interrupt. Would it not be Intro to Archaeomancy, which is the relic divination class? Do you not have Old Relic?
Well, Runes and Glyphs language of magic literally stipulates that the delves into the ancient intricate art of runes, glyphs, and exploring the role in spellcasting, enchantment creation, and protective wards.
Yeah,
so,
fair enough. Yeah,
they're both relevant to what he's
they're both applicable.
Yeah, I think both Lorehold classes are probably relevant to him.
So, you wake up the next day, you're like, all right, what's on the agenda for today? Oh, I've got Runes and Glyphs, Language of Magic. So you head over to the Lorehold campus where this is being taken place. So you go to this area, you're in Lorehold Silverquill Classroom 3E. As you approach, you see 2 individuals that are teaching the class at like the end of the room. So you're in a large room, dusty books everywhere, apparatus like rune carvers tools, masons tool stuff laid all over the area. There's about 10 other people in this class with you, and the class is being taught by 2 individuals. One that you've seen before, who's actually the individual that your teacher met with on the first day of school. So you've got Professor Osgear, who is a tall giant man, massive form. He's obviously Lawhold. He's decked out in the orange and white colors. A big, strong, rune carving looking figure. And next to him, a very sneevely looking, definitely Silverquill aligned, sort of wizard looking guy. His name is Professor Nils. So as you approached, can I get a perception check to see, just you get the lay of the land, exactly what's in this room? 12. So you're looking around, you're trying to see if you recognize anyone else in the class today. Not everyone is on this particular time. So you see a couple individuals. You see a large elephant man clad in sort of this armor with a big great sword on his back. You see a giant, what appears to be cow man. Sort of looks like a giant bull, kind of meek looking though, even though he is 7 feet tall with horns coming out the front.
Do I recognize him as a Minotaur?
You would recognize him as a Minotaur, yes.
Okay.
And you also see a very snooty looking troll. Big glasses on his eyes, big tusk coming out of his mouth, sitting back completely straight up, paying direct attention to what Nils is saying. So you sort of sit down, you kind of, they're sort of describing the very basics of rune crafting, what it is, how to actually perform it, what kind of magic it usually ends up being, whether it be evocation, abjuration. It can really apply to the majority of the schools of magic. And it's used to imbue artifacts. So any particular thing you want to do while you're in this class? Any questions you want to ask the teachers? What would you like to do?
I would be inquisitive to know what school of magic would be applied to my particular runestone.
Okay, so there does come a point during the lecture where Osgear kind of brings up that you can sort of, if anyone has any artifacts, like the school has artifacts that they're going through, but they're asking, has anyone by any chance brought any artifacts into the class?
I raise my hand.
Okay, so Osgear kind of points at you and he's like, yes, I remember you. You're Roldrick, correct?
I am, sir.
Excellent, Roldrick. And is the artifact that you've brought the artifact that I think it is?
It is, sir.
Very well. Come up to the front of the class, please.
I get up from my desk and go to the front of the class.
Yeah, so you come up to the class, you kind of, and so you just pull out the runestone from your sack?
Yes.
Okay. So as you do it, there's a sort of like a very soft green glow that goes over the classroom. There's a bit of, ooh, sort of sound effects from a couple of the students in the back row. And you can see that the troll student that I was describing before begins furiously scribbling down notes. So he says, where did you find this object, Roldrick?
Give me 2 seconds to consult my notes.
No worries.
In a secluded valley near my homeland.
In a secluded valley near his homeland. Now, class, as you can see, Roldrick here is of the Goliath nature. Not too unsimilar to myself, and he says as he laughs. Reminder, Osgear is a giant. He is fucking, 20 feet tall. He's massive. He's not a small guy. Nils, however, is about, 5'5" at best.
The eye tower over Nils.
Yeah, there's a very big dichotomy. And so Nils kind of speaks up with this sort of very snivelly voice, and he's like, giant relics usually have wards of protection against them to keep away demons and the such. By any chance, Roldrick, have you determined the school of magic on this particular artifact?
I haven't. There was some concerns as most of the runestones that we find near our homeland are fractured, whereas this one still seems very much intact.
So Oscar kind of speaks up. He's like, yes, well, the old rune wars of back in the day were quite violent. Several giant clans were wiped out. It is good that you were taking precautions. Could you please show the artifacts to young Nils there? He says young Nils. Nils is 60. But he's giant, so his level, frame of reference is quite different.
I present the runestone.
So Nils kind of puts it on a projector, sort of projector apparatus that displays a closer image. Now you see, class, and he sort of goes into a bit of a description about all the different kinds of runes, particularly the language that the giant kin usually inscribe things on. This is definitely, at the very minimum, a giant kin designed rune. It is written in the runic language of the giants, which is not exactly the same as giant, but it's very similar. There are tells. It's definitely some form of abjuration magic. It's very difficult to tell even Nils seems to be a bit stumped, where he's like, Usually when a particular powerful magical artifact has been designed in such a way that you do not want your enemies to be able to tamper with it, there will be several false runes emblazoned upon the surface. Roderick, have a look at this rune and see if you can tell me any false runes that you might be able to describe. And I will get you to roll. 1 second. I'll get you to roll an Arcana check.
12.
So you have been, although you have been taught a little bit about rune magic from Fenor. Fenor, it's not particularly Fenor's. He's not a great teacher. He is very wise and very wizened in the ways of rune crafting, but he himself is not able to impart that knowledge on you entirely. You point out a couple of runes that you understand vaguely their purpose. One, to keep the artifact from exploding under its own power. One for keeping the artifact in a particular shape so it can't be destroyed. But you do make a couple errors. You don't happen to actually point out any false runes. Nils kind of corrects you when he points out a couple. And so the class this is a very educational experience for the majority of the class, because most of them have never seen an artifact in their life, let alone a giant kin rune artifact. So this is a particularly informative lesson for the day. So Nils and Oscar sort of, point out a couple of false runes, a couple ways to tell whether a rune is original or if it's been forged, how many times it's been copied. So you gain a bit of knowledge for this, and you think that if you end up doing an exam in the class, you're definitely going to have a benefit. So now we'll go to your next phase, extracurricular phase. Do you have any hobbies/jobs you would like to go for/attend?
I was thinking about, let me go back to the jobs list that we have access to. I was thinking about potentially inquiring. So we had this discussion a little bit at the end of last session, right, when it pertained to jobs about the groundskeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Now it said that there was the intramural fields had a groundskeeping, but not the actual campus itself.
So we'll move the map back over to the central campus. So the central campus itself does have several areas where groundskeeping would be required. Specifically, the Archway Commons, the aeronaut fields need to be maintained.
Are they what would be referred to in the campus listing as a lawn manicurist?
Yes.
Okay, well then that's kind of where I'd be headed.
Yeah, lawn manicurists will be definitely doing a lot of the trees. Most of your work's going to be in the Archway Commons and the aeronaut fields specifically.
Okay, cool. Then yes, I would like to go and inquire about that.
Okay, 1 second. Interesting. The book does not have a default person for who runs that particular area. Give me 2 seconds to make one. Okay, so you go to the Archway Commons and you sort of look around to try and find out who's actually in charge. You end up finding a particular, what looks like an owl girl, sort of attending to. She appears to be doing trash collection just in the Archway Commons area. There's a couple of bins that need to be emptied, and you notice that at least on the job listing that you saw, that falls underneath the campus grounds field. So this is your your first inkling as to who you might be able to find who's in charge of this area. So what do? You approach them?
I would like to approach them, yes.
Okay, what do you say?
Hello, miss. Are you by any chance working as a trash collector for the campus grounds?
Oh, indeed I am. And I'll show you a picture of this individual. So this is Shuvadari Glintmantle, if that came up for you.
Yes, it did.
Woo! Yes, I'm just doing a bit of trash collection. Why? Is there some trash that I missed?
No, not at all. I was just curious about who I would talk to about potentially inquiring for a job as the lawn manicurist. I saw there was a job in demand.
Ah, you'd want to talk to Branther Mossgrove. He's just over there. And he kind of points to this sort of large furbog wearing a bit of a straw hat and
that checks out.
Yeah. So he's wearing they're not called leotards. What are they called? What do hillbillies wear?
Overalls?
Yeah, he's wearing a set of overalls with a single shot.
Dungarees.
Would probably be close to what I'm talking about. Yes,
I appreciate that you went with leotard first.
Leotard is not even remotely close.
Yeah, he's wearing a leotard. He's doing gymnastic thrusts as he clips the trees. No, so he's wearing a pair of dungarees. He's wearing no shoes, so he's a big, hairy-looking guy. He looks about 6.5 to 7 foot tall. And he's got like kind of like a big smile on his face as he slowly, he has the scissors out and he's trimming a couple of the hedges.
I approach this man.
So he turns to you and he goes, "Well there, who is approaching me who's so goddamn tall?"
Hello, sir. I am Roldrick Stonekeeper. I was wondering if I could inquire about the lawn manicurist position.
Ah, the lawn manicurist position. That's only been up for a day since the last guy failed the orientation exam. I'm Brantham Mossgrove, by the way. Nice to meet you. And he puts his hand out.
I shake his hand.
So as you shake his hand, can I get a charisma saving throw?
Sure. How about a nat 1?
So immediately upon touching this man's hand, you feel as if you and him have been friends your entire lives. He just has this aura of a nice, approachable man.
Oh, he's a furball. They're nice and approachable.
He's a nice, approachable man. That's exactly the vibe you're getting from good old Brantham Mossgrove. Now, can you tell me, do you have any experience being a manicurist?
He's standing next to some trees.
He is, yes.
I immediately make all of the flowers bloom on the tree with Druidcraft.
Yep, I will quickly just roll a dice for him. Now that there is mighty fine work, I must say. However, there's a little bit more to being a manicurist than making the flowers bloom, boy. It takes intention, wit. You see how you've made all these flowers bloom? They're not in any particular pattern, you understand? You gotta really show some pizzazz. Here, let me show you how I do it. And you see, he kind of waves his hand, and the flowers that you've done sort of change color on the tree itself, and now they're displaying the image of just like the Strixhaven school logo on the tree. And he's like, now that's got some real intention to it. You see what I'm saying, boy?
I see, sir.
Well, it's nice to know at least you can take directions. I will get you to roll a persuasion check to see if he's going to just give you that roll or if he's going to start you lower down the chain board, because that is one of the best jobs under this particular branch.
12. I'm really good with the 12s tonight.
Well, now, what was it, Roldrick, was it?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to start you out on something easier first, get you to really understand from the base level what we do. Because although I mainly do a lot of the manicuring myself, we all got to do the trash jobs. Do you understand?
I think so, sir.
Very good. I'm put you on trash duty with Shavadri Glintmantle, if that's all right, and we'll work up from there. I'll teach you. I'll show you the ropes, and maybe by the end of the semester, I got you doing the aeronaut field. How that sound?
Sounds good, sir.
Very good. Here, and he hands you a pair of gloves and some trash bags.
I take them.
You are employed as a trash man. Woo! Let's go!
I'm the trash man.
He's the trash man. And so you spend the remainder of this section anyway, meeting up with Shavadri, getting to know her a little bit better. She hates graffiti, by the way. Every time she sees graffiti
erasing,
she immediately is getting rid of it. Yeah, that's her big goal, is to sort of clean up the school. Okay. What would you like to do for your class phase? I'm very up on myself for giving him that voice off the cuff, by the way.
I do this.
That's not how I would have done it.
I guess I continue with my rune class.
Okay, so you want to attend the actual rune class. Now, does anyone else want to take runes and glyphs as their education class today?
No.
So Valafork's the only other person. Valafork, do you want to take runes and glyphs as a class today?
Negative.
Okay. What I think we'll do to spread it out is, now that I know which class you're taking, I reckon I'll go to someone else now, do a bit of theirs. That way we can get through all the other stuff, and I think I'll just do the classes at the end. But we know where they happen in the day. I reckon that's probably the best way to do it. Because I feel like it's probably should just do class phase at the end every time. What do you guys reckon? Probably makes more sense to do.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so then we'll do the other two, and then we'll at the end do everyone's class phases, because that makes more sense than if people are taking them together. It makes it a bit more structured. So who rolled next after Caleb?
Gobble.
Gobble.
Gobble. Great. Okay.
Probably great.
Gobble, I would like to suggest you did mention something earlier about a gambling ring that you'd like
that wasn't in game. That's like
okay, well that is my actual plan. So
He wanted to know if you wanted in.
I wanted to know if we were going to be business partners or not.
Look. First, we need to make a connection. Like, Gobble's got a plan.
No, I was more saying like I'm intending to show up at like the sports stadium and see whether I can immediately bet and like whether I would meet you there or not.
Yeah. So I think what he's saying is if you both wanted to use the extracurricular phase to set up a gambling ring to go through that path, you'd both do it together if you want, and we'd do it at the same time.
No, that was my suggestion. But if it was a bit, then.
It's like Gobble's plan is he wants to go to the tavern. I think where his brain went, he wants a frat house and then he wants to lead that into a gambling ring. You sound like you're multi-step.
Yeah, no, I'm trying today to do this.
Which Gobble might come to you later and be like, let's.
All right, we'll work something out. We'll talk numbers later.
I've got the location off campus and we'll work it out. Alright, cool. So Gobble wants to go to the illusions class.
You want to go to the Art of Illusion?
For education. Yeah.
Okay, does anyone else want to go to the Art of Illusion today?
Me.
Valafork does. I believe it's Millhouse, Valafork, Gobble.
I'm either taking that or I'm taking Intro to Archaeomancy. I will flip a coin. Give me a second. No.
Okay, so we'll do Gobble and we'll do Valafork going to Runes and Glyphs. Not Runes and Glyphs, Art of Illusion. It is located on the Quandrix campus. Very mathematical garden based, fractal shapes everywhere. Very fancy looking campus, at least compared to the Commons. So we've got the two the dynamic duo of both Gobble and Valafork. You're both heading to your class. You guys doing anything? Stop anywhere before you go, or just go straight there?
How long does it take to ritual cast a spell?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Alright, I can't bother waiting that long. I kind of wanted the ritual cast Detect Magic.
Can't be bothered waiting that long. Tom, I asked if you wanted to do anything with an hour before it ends.
I want to ritual cast Detect Magic, and I want to see how blinded I get.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So you ritual cast Detect Magic before. So is this before you guys both meet up to go to the class?
Yeah, before.
Okay. I'll get you to roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
I should expect that.
This is more because in my mind, this is the first time Gobble has ever cast Detect Magic. So you cast Detect Magic, you're using the ring, you're channeling in your room. Quintilius is just muttering about something. You're not paying attention to him. You cast Detect Magic, and in your room, everything's fine. There's not really any magical as you see. Valafork knocks on the door. He's like, "Yo, boy, Mitch, you want to roll? You gonna go talk to Gobble to go to class, or are you just gonna meet him there?"
I'll knock. I'll go over.
Okay.
But I'll knock and I'll be like, Gobble, we've got class. Quint, when are we going to us? When's day one? When am I signing up for your club?
Oh, well, whenever you've got the time, my friend. Why would you like to sign up today?
I might get off my. I've thought about it, and I'm probably just gonna be down and just sign up straight away today.
Very well, very good.
First we have to get the class, Goblin. Stop chanting.
Indeed, Gobble, we are going to be late. You better get up. Quintilius takes this class. He comes with you. He is in this particular class.
I'm keep until I'm done. I'm gonna keep.
Okay, so what'd you roll for that con saving throw, Tom?
17.
Okay, so as you exit the dormitory, there is a blinding magical light that goes in your eyes. You're looking at the sort of. You notice that there's a dome of magic over the campus, and it fucking burns your corneas. You have to sort of look down at your feet as you're walking to class so you don't burn your eyes. After about 5 minutes, you kind of get used to that being there. You can sort of actually see properly. But it's the first time you've ever seen that much magic just floating in the sky above you.
Does it look like there's actually a shield?
Yeah, there was a dome around each of the campuses.
Interesting. That's actually good to know.
It is good to know. Okay, and so you guys arrive on the Quandrix campus. You're in lab room 4B. So both you two and Quintilius arrive. The teacher there are two different teachers. There is Dika, who is a fractal sort of professor, human wizard, got like a bunch of very intricate patterns on a blue robe. And there's also Veyren, who is a Genasi, who keeps fluctuating her forms between a sort of water-based elemental thing and a fire-based sort of genie-looking thing. Every 5 to 10 seconds, they appear to be swapping back and forth. Can I get both of you to roll a perception check to see who else is in this class?
17 again.
Although he said he had something else to do, Mitch, but as the class is about to show up, Valafork's sitting down, and a particular individual sits down in the seat next to you. Oh, sorry, I'm late, Valafork. It's Cataris Delamoire, who's sitting next to you in the line next to Gobble and next to Quintilius. Your roommate.
Who Megalol?
Your roommate, the Lapa, Cataris Delamoire, sits down and he peers over and he waves to Gobble and he waves enthusiastically to Quintilius, who, with your perception, you notice is making an absolute face of disgust, as if he's been betrayed by you and Gobble.
I turn and I grin real big quick.
I want to lean into Quintilius, who invited the LARP. Whispering. All the whispers.
Yeah, you hear in your head a very similar voice. He's trying to keep on like a smiling face. He's trying to hide. Actually, I'm going to roll perception to see how well he hides this. Let's roll a deception for Quintilius. He's not hiding it very well. So you see him trying to put on like a blank smile, but his mouth keeps twitching. And in your mind, Gobble, you hear, "Who invited the Lapa indeed?" Yeah, so the teachers at this point are like, now, class, pay attention. And so, the class goes a bit quiet, and I'm just going to read a bit of text. She goes, "Welcome to the art of illusion." This is Dika speaking. "This class will shape your perception, blending Prismari's artistry with Quandrix's physics. Illusions aren't just tricks of the eye. They're manipulations of reality itself." And Veyron sort of chimes in. It's hard to do because you'd have to imagine me speaking as if I had two voices talking at once, and I couldn't find a voice mod that does it, that doesn't like hurt your ears. But just imagine I've got both a very high voice and a very low voice talking at the same time. And I'm just going to talk normally because that's the middle ground.
Yeah.
And so she says, "Remember, illusions are not just about beauty. It's about precision and understanding how perception works. What you create must be seamless so the observer cannot tell where the illusion ends and reality begins." Okay, so then they sort of quickly run. They're like, "So, just to quickly check, can everyone in this class cast at least one illusionary spell?" And so, do you guys raise your hand saying you can? It's a show of hands.
Yes.
Yeah, I put my hand up.
Okay, so you see Quintilius and Cataris both also do the same. And she goes, "Very well. We will all line up at the front of the class and demonstrate at least one illusionary spell to the rest of the class. Please, come forward." And so you all sort of step in the line. Quintilius he casts what you would assume to be minor illusion. He makes like a chest that he pretends to hide in. Cataris, funnily enough, as you've seen him do before, makes an archery bow that looks like it's made out of spectral energy and keeps pointing it at people in the class. And then it comes up to Valafork's turn. What illusion magic do you perform?
I would like to create just like an image, and I'm gonna pick real quick back to the room I've just gone in, and I want to try and create a picture of my dorm room with me and my roommate buddy, like looking towards where it's coming from with like a thumbs up.
Okay. Yep. I gotta read. What I'll get you to do. I'm going to look at your stat block real quick. Actually, no, I'm going to look at the class block real quick to see which skills are associated with this. Your choice of Arcana or Deception for how quality the illusion is. Obviously, you make an illusion, but the whole point of this class is trying to perfect illusions. Yeah. So
it's like, again, I've learned illusions on the trip here. Is when I discovered I could do illusions.
Yep.
Because before I melted the thing.
Before you
I
melted
couldn't do it.
the thing was sacking the livestock.
Yeah, I couldn't do them. Now I can all of a sudden.
Yeah. So your choice of Arcana or Deception.
I'm going to use Deception because I have a -1.
Sure.
14.
14. It's a pretty good picture of your dorm room, you and your buddy hanging out.
All things considering?
All things considering, there might be a little bit of like, maybe one of the fingers isn't done entirely correctly. I mean, it's like blending a little bit into your clothes. Maybe one of the eyes is a little bit too big. But for the other points, it looks pretty good.
Looks weirdly AI gen.
It looks slightly AI gen. That's a good description of what it looks like. It's from a distance. No one was looking too hard at it. They would be convinced, and the teachers sort of give you a nod of approval, being like, quite good. All right, Gobble. What illusion magic do you perform?
Would me being able to make weapons be classed as illusion?
I don't believe so, because I believe they're real.
Oh, it was a real question.
Let's read Pact of the Blade.
I think is it in the illusion class of spells?
Yeah, we're looking for the illusionary class of spells.
If you click on it,
actually you can conjure a packed weapon in your hand or create a
at the top of D&D Beyond, it'll say transmutation or illusion or
if you click on a spell, it'll tell you which school of magic it's for. Mind you, you can cast something else and try and pass it off as illusion. Tom being like, what are spells? This was the one class that had a requirement, like a spell requirement.
I can cast invisibility. That's no drama, which is illusion.
Yes, that would do it.
I'll ask the teacher.
Yes.
I would say, Gobble can cast a few illusion spells. Would being able to make weapons be seen as illusion? Where does that fall into?
What is the source of this illusion of these weapons?
I go to try and make a short sword appear in my hand, but I want to try and make it look a bit more ornate than I would normally bother to make.
Okay, I'm gonna get them to roll just a quick check. Probably insight. So Dika, the fractal mage, the Quandrix mage, comes up and she has a look at your ornate sword and she goes, I'm sorry, my dear Gobble, but that appears to be some form of a conjuration. It doesn't appear to be illusion at all. And she says she taps it with her finger because it's physically in the world. That's not really going to cut. Do you have anything else? You said you had multiple illusion spells.
I look down sad. I click my fingers. I turn invisible.
Both the teachers' eyes raise and they go, invisibility. Now that is a bit of a good spell. Very well, Gobble, you've done extremely well. Please sit down. Do not leave the class while you're invisible. We've had that happen a couple of times.
I'm going to sit down.
Yeah.
I sit in Mitch's seat.
Okay. Valfork returns to his seat and tries to sit down. What are we rolling for this? I guess you just sit on him. Mitch, you sit on what appears to be an invisible goblin.
Interesting. I go to sit down and there's like a little bit of squishiness. I get back up and I touch the chair. I start like touching him all over the place.
Actually grabs his cock.
So you're invisible in the chair, Gobble. You're not quite sure if you thought this through because you see Valfor begin to he's quite large elf. Begins to slowly sit down on you.
I scream harassment to make myself invisible.
As you're like reaching out, trying to feel like what the fuck's going on, Gobble appears screaming harassment off of his lungs and begins like writhing around in the chair. Well, what is your reaction to this?
The chair next to me, therefore, is empty.
Yep.
I just sit down on that one. Try to ignore him.
Yeah, so the teacher eventually he's like, Gobble, please stop making such of a noise. This is an educational facility. And the class sort of continues for there. So the class is mostly about how to perfect your illusions, how to both make them structurally look correct, but also, the flair of being able to use them for like parlor tricks and, pyrotechnics and stuff. Just general ways to use illusionary magic. And as I said before, this will probably be useful on the upcoming exam if you were to take this class.
Am I able to ask the teachers questions before we end?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Right, because I want to. So Gobble understands the weapons of conjuration.
Mm-hmm.
Can I still use the things I learn here to improve those weapons and maybe make new items instead of just weapons?
So Dika sort of chimes in with their recommendation. She says you could definitely apply illusionary magic to make it look like it's something else, perhaps. Say you conjured that sword that you conjured earlier. Perhaps you could use illusion magic to make people think that it's actually a bow and arrow, so that you might be open to, melee combat, and they rush in and boom, your sword's there in your hands. That sort of trickery is not uncommon. There might not be a necessary way to use it to upgrade and improve your sword, but there's definitely ways to use illusionary magic on your weapons to trick people into thinking you might be differently geared than you are.
Okay, thank you. And I'm done. That's all I wanted to know.
Job or extracurricular?
Job. I need some money.
You are broke.
I've got 30 gold. I feel like 30 gold's pretty rich.
What have you had a look at the list? Any particular one you're going for?
Oh, we're going for the bomb.
So you're going for
the assistant manager.
I will notify you before you take that role, because I heard you say off campus. If I move us back to the central campus map, the Bows End Tavern is here. It is on campus.
Yeah.
Just to say, it's not in a town outside of the school. It is on school grounds.
Yeah, that's all right. I need money. I need my connections before we start.
What does a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds buy at a bar?
Nothing, but the older students definitely do.
Well, we're in Italy. The 16-year-olds get to drink.
Yeah, the 16-year-olds can drink. Yeah, no, yeah, you can drink at 16 in Strixhaven. I don't see why not.
I would also think it would depend on. Would it depend on your race? Because like a goblin's considered an adult at age 8.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how old Valafork was established as 17 human-wise, but he's not, isn't he? He's like, what, 60, Mitch? Is that what you said? Or
be about 60.
Yeah.
Also, my real-life university had an on-campus bar, and I started uni at 16 to 17.
Yeah. So it's not impossible. Give me 1 second. I got to look up who works there, because there is at least one character that I know that does work there. And I need to, for all of these, I will need to come up with someone who runs the place, because there isn't one. Okay, Gobble is, he's like, oh man, I need money. I'm going to have to find a place to actually get some coin in my pockets. So you have a look. There is a job board. That's where all these jobs are being posted. We'll just say it's vaguely, it's somewhere in the biblioplex near the cafe. So Gobble's having a look, and he's having a look at all the jobs, and he's like, tavern. And then you see the positions that are currently available at the tavern, and you see assistant manager is currently available. And as established, you are Gobble the Great. You could be the manager, but you'll settle for assistant manager to start with. And so you make your way over. You work your way up. So you'll head over to the Bows End Tavern. So you open it. I'll get you to make a perception check as you walk through the sort of like doors.
7. Not too great this time.
So your short nature as you come through the doors makes it quite difficult. A lot of the tables are obviously taller than you are. But you do clock a couple things. There are a lot of like what appear to be third years, sort of you're sitting in the rooms getting drunk. School year's only just started. They're all catching up from their like holidays. They went back home, or if they didn't, planetary travel. And you kind of go up to a guy that seems to be manning the bar at the moment. And he is this man right here.
Oh, he's a nice looking lad.
So you see this owl. He's got like a bit of a sort of furrowed brow. But can I get you to make an insight check, Gobble? 5. He looks like the rough and tumble sort of type. He looks like the kind of guy that you would see. He's obviously very built. He's a very large, muscular owlin. And he's got a bit of a stern look to his face. And he's at least from what you can hear muttering under his breath. You can't really make out what he's saying, but it sounds like he might be cursing, people under his tongue. And you approach him, and he's like, He's looking straight at you. What do you say?
I put one arm on the bench, like kind of leaning. I'm like, so you wanted some help? There was a help wanted sign on the job board.
No, this is this guy. Sorry, I just remembered who this is. Cha, brah. Yeah, we're looking for some help, man.
Oh yeah, bro. I heard there was an assistant manager's role going about.
Yeah, there is, man. You want to talk to Grunkle. Hey, Grunkle, there's a guy who wants to work here, man. And out from the back, there's like boom, 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 like loud footsteps. And from like a large curtain comes out a large troll. Big belly, greasy apron, chef's hat tilted to one side. And he goes, "What's this about someone wanting to work in my bar?" And he's trying to look around, but he can't see you because you're slightly too short for him.
I like lean my head over and I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I want to work in this bar."
You want to work in my bar?
Yeah, why else would I be here?
How old even are you?
How old did I say I was? 15?
You're 17.
17, mate.
So you're like middle age.
Yeah.
However, goblins reach maturity at age 8. So, you know.
Young lad, he says, this is a very rough and tumble establishment at the worst of times. Are you sure you can cut it?
Got it, beat it, I can do whatever I want.
You see that the owl sort of like speaks up and he's like, "Yo, man, I saw this guy and a couple of his friends beat up some angry looking suitcases, man. This guy's actually pretty strong." So he's actually speaking up on your behalf. He's trying to give you a hand here. He's inflating. Well, not if he's telling the truth. He told that he saw you and the gang beat up the briefcases. Do you say anything in relation to that?
Oh, that was nothing, mate. That was easy pickings there. Just a few magic spells here and there. The odd stab, they were good. They were gone.
Yeah, Grunkle, I watched this guy shoot a couple of laser beams out of his hand. I mean, a couple of them hit like a bookshelf and the back wall, but otherwise, man, he's got some magical firepower under those little goblin hands. And
I don't think you remember it very well. I didn't miss a shot.
Deception roll.
Please, this is what I do. Oh, fuck. 7. I rolled a 2. I was like, I got +5 in deception. I can go for this.
Nah, man, I don't think that's quite right. I mean, I wasn't there for the whole thing, but I saw you casting magic, man. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see the whole thing. But Grunkle, he's got what it takes, man. I mean, he could be a pretty good bouncer, maybe. I don't know. So Grunkle, the large troll, was like, well, when are you willing to start?
Well, how impactful was my class timetable? Do I know this?
You have I believe you've only got you don't have a 5th class, do you? You've only got the 4.
I thought I picked 5.
Do you have 5? 1, 2, 3. You do have 5. So yeah, you've got slightly less time than anybody else would have.
I thought we had to pick 5.
No, you had to pick 4. You had to pick 3
okay.
while you were in magical physiologies by default.
Oh, okay. I'll get rid of basic magical auras then. I thought we had to pick 5.
No, you had to pick 4. Okay. So yeah, so you've got like the normal student schedule. I mean, Javanesh here, the owl, is also a first year. So you've got roughly the same schedule that he presumably has.
I'm guessing if this is a bar, this is more of an evening gig.
Yeah, this is majority of right now you've come at like lunchtime, but look, Javanesh doesn't have any classes currently right now. I mean, neither do you, so that kind of checks out. So yeah, you've got time to work here, but you'd be doing mostly nights, it would seem.
Did I say, can I be like real ball and be like, right now, mate?
Right now, all right. Let's see. Let's have a look at your talents. So he's going to give you a bit of a trial at a couple of different jobs.
Okay.
So I'm going to get you to roll a couple different skill checks real quick. We're going to start with you rolling a persuasion check for being a server, because he's going to see how well you acclimate to all these different roles.
Oh, where's my...
So the assistant manager needs to be able to do everything.
Yeah, assistant manager must be able to do every task, which is correct.
21. I saw the 1 and I looked so sad for it. I realized where it says clear roll was higher the 6. 21.
Yeah, so Javanesh kind of runs you through how to run. You actually surprisingly have a little bit of experience running a cash register from orientation day. So you take to this like duck to water. So he shows you the ropes and he's like, yeah, you seem to be pretty good. So now we're going to get you to try being the doorman. So for the doorman, I'll get you to roll intimidation.
22.
22. You're using prestidigitation and the thread of magic for people that have come in to try and keep the peace. You actually are quite a convincing I'm dormant. People write you off when they first walk in, but that you make them know that you will not let them cause any trouble.
Every time someone walks away, I want to cast prestidigitation to make a little pair of sunglasses to put over.
Yeah, no, that definitely helps. All right, so those are the 2 roles that Javanesh knows how to do. Now you're going to actually go into the back because he needs to see how you are at cooking. Do you...
An assistant manager doesn't need a cook.
Do you have proficiency in cook's utensils?
Proficient in forgery.
Okay, I'm going to need you to roll just a flat roll.
Okay.
And I've got a DC in mind.
13.
So what essentially happens with this is Grunkle, who was acting as the cook, takes his hat off his head, puts it on yours, and the orders start coming through from Javanish out the front. As I said, it is lunchtime when you're coming here. So you order after order after order after order after order after order is coming in, and there comes a certain point where you're falling heavily behind because you don't even know how to make most of these foods, and you're the singular cook in a restaurant. Ask Jasper how that goes sometimes.
I'm getting damn flashbacks. No, genuinely, when you said order after order after order, I kind of stared off.
Disassociated. So yeah, you're not a great fit at being a cook.
That being said, it's definitely the manager's fault to not be on the line with you in this situation.
That it is. Okay, now we're gonna. What happens while you're cooking is Grunkle actually leaves you for a bit, and you hear a bit of a rough and tumble brawl, a sort of very small minor brawl happen in the back, and a couple of people get carted out of the tavern, and he says, "All right, gobble!" And so he pulls you off the cook line, he takes his hat off you, he gives you a sponge, he gives you a mop. There's a lot of blood on the floor, there's a lot of beer spilt everywhere, and he wants you to clean it up. We're going to go with only relevant check I can think of is sleight of hand or medicine. Pick your
sleight of hand. Sleight of hand.
Favorite of the 2.
Oh, damn it. It was on the 13. It just rolled over 8.
8. You're a goblin from Dominaria that lived in a hole with a bunch of other goblins. Cleaning is not your strong suit. So this is also a skill that you require some guidance in. Based on all of this I've seen today, you cannot have the position of assistant manager, but you can start out work in the front and be in the bodyguard, much like young Javanish here. Does that sound good to you?
Is the role of assistant manager maybe a thing in the future?
If you prove yourself down the line, I don't see why not. But you'll be racing against young Javanish here, and he's like kind of like mock punching Javanish, and he's like, "Yeah,
Javanish hates him."
Javanish doesn't look. He's a big fan of this.
I'm up for some friendly competition.
All right. Well, I'll pay you for the hour. Come back tomorrow and we'll get started. Yeah. So you're for all intents and purposes of being on the job track, you're listed as host, but you're also server. Host being in this scenario as the bouncer sort of role.
How much do I get paid per hour?
What a great question. The fun fact about the Strixhaven book, it just says people get paid 5 gold pieces a week, and that's all it says.
And then they get paid 5 gold pieces a week.
Yeah, but it says that regardless of job, which I feel like there's definitely a hierarchy to these jobs.
That's
I will come back to you before next session, but it's based on how high in this hierarchy that you end up going. Roldrick is working at the bottom level, you're working the level above bottom.
I'm assuming I might get some tips as well. I've got pretty good performance.
Yeah. Well, what we'll be doing next time you roll for extra
people
don't
really tip their bounce.
That's not
a
highly tipped position.
They fucking will.
They fucking will.
They said host as well.
So anyway, what we'll be doing is...
Just for Jasper's purpose, someone gives you a gold coin, you're like, hey, can I come in? Be like,
Oh, okay, you could. They bribe their bouncer. They don't tip their bouncer.
Bribe tip. Whatever you put on the tax.
It's not declared income. But yeah, how that will be working is when we go back to do another check for extracurriculars and/or jobs. If you're picking either I'm doing my job or I'm doing my extracurricular, if you pick job, we're running you doing the job and seeing if you get any benefits from it to see if you improve in the job, see if any tips, see if anything happens. That's what the point of running it later is for. Also, yeah, you now know Javanesh Stoutclaw, the Owl Man. I will put his picture in the chat.
Probably right his name in Allies.
And he seemed like a pretty chill dude, all things considered.
And he also doesn't seem like he wants the assistant manager's position. Actually, no, he didn't say that. He just didn't like the boisterous.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of the boss. We'll go for Yulan. Education phase.
I'm probably going to start with Arcano Botany for beginners.
Okay. Arcana Botany for beginners. People who take that are Yulan and Roderick. Roderick's already gone to class, so we'll be doing this solo. Mm-hmm. And you head over to, shockingly, the Witherbloom campus.
Whoa!
That's crazy. It's crazy that the botany would be here.
Yeah. I didn't plan this at all.
Yeah, so you have to follow a list of instructions because you're actually looking for a cave that is slightly towards the detention bog. Sort of over here.
The detention bog.
The detention bog, where the naughty students are put in detention in the large pods in the Sedgemoor Woods.
I love this.
But you're in the Cave of Valrud, classroom A. So as you sort of approach there's a deep, earthy smell. It's not far from the swamp. Plenty of trees around, lots of foliage on the ground. As you walk in, I'll get you to roll a perception check to see if you recognize or see anyone else that you might know in this class.
Perception check. I'm doing the perception check. 21.
21, that's pretty good. Just quickly referring to the list. Okay, so as you walk in and approach, you see a couple people. Immediately, you will see the teacher of the class, who is a sort of old, wizened, sort of witchy-looking dryad. Dryads are amorphous gender, but she's leaning towards more of the female persuasion. So her name is Eudora. She is a dryad. She's covered in moss. No clothes on, except for like a really raggedy-looking witch's cloak. Like imagine very much the witch that gives the apple to Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Morrigan from Dragon Age.
But she's a bit Morrigan Dragon Age if she were a tree. And there's
Sorry, I haven't played Dragon
That's
Age.
my
That means
fanfic.
nothing to me.
Yeah, evil witch. She looks like an evil witch, but she's a tree. That's the easiest way we're going to go about it. And there's a couple of people that are in this class that you've at least vaguely seen. For one, you've at least seen this one before, which is Penny Feather Gobbleglab is in this class. The little gnome wizard. She looks a bit out of her depth, but otherwise fine. There is a troll with big rimmed glasses, sitting very upright, fervishly taking notes. There is an elf that is dressed in like all black. She's got like a choker on with several large red sort of like rubies emblazoned in it. She looks very, very gothic, sort of, e-girl sort of vibe is what you're getting. She seems to be like nonchalantly strumming a bass. Can I get you to make a particular insight check on her? Or a perception check on her specifically?
A 15.
So you do notice that she's sort of like mouthing song lyrics. She's got two particularly prominent teeth that are coming from the top of her mouth and going just over her lips. She's got sort of like what you would describe as fangs. And other than that, there's a giant tree in the back of the room. You think it's just a tree at first, but then you sort of notice that it is slowly, very slowly, writing notes down on like what appears to be a stone tablet that it's etching into with its finger. Okay, who do you sit next to anyone specific or?
Lady with the fangs and the guitar.
So Lady with the Fangs and the Guitar, small gnomish female wizard, giant tree man, very snooty looking troll that is taking notes feverishly. And who the fuck is Shuvadra? The owl that we saw previously that was doing the trash with Roldrick.
Wait, so I have a question.
Yes.
How is the troll in this class and in my class, right?
What a great question, Caleb. So earlier today, Jasper asked me, hey, there's this one guy on the list that is in every class except the fitness class. And I went, yeah, there is. You might have to talk to him to figure that out.
He's taken all of them.
I have described him multiple times as
time turner.
He's writing as many notes as he physically can.
Did you give this man a fucking time turner?
He might not have a time turner, but he looks like he is trying to, as quickly as possible, take as much information as he can. He looks a bit skittish.
I'll sit next to the owl.
Gotta go fast.
You'll sit next to the
Your class started at 10, hers started at 11. It's fine.
Yeah, he just had to sprint all the way to a different campus.
Yeah, he had to do the 20-minute walk in 0 minutes.
Be in both, you know?
Because that's not how the fate system works.
Right now?
Tell that to that guy.
Kaz,
Huh?
are you double discording right now?
Yes, I am.
Well, you in 2 voice chats?
Yeah, I have a war starting in 2 minutes.
That's a good bit. Well, it's a good thing we're not doing your track right now, then.
Yeah, I know, it's great. It's working well.
Okay, so you sit next to Shivari Glint Mandel, which I will just show to players again. Al, she's looking very, very happy, honestly. She looks like she's in a very pleasant mood. All of her equipment on front of her has been laid out very organized. And she sits down. She extends I suppose it's a talon more than a hand. She goes, "Hi, how you doing?"
Oh, great. Thank you. How are you?
Good. One question before we become friends. You do not do graffiti on school grounds, right?
I hadn't planned on it, nor had I done it.
Then we can be friends. Awesome. Very good. But if you ever do graffiti on school grounds, I will kill you.
Anyway,
class, let's go. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
my name's Elon. What's your name?
Awesome. I'm Shivadri Glyn Mandel. And again, I want to stress, do not commit any graffiti on school grounds. Teacher's calling roll. Let's answer. And so the teacher begins calling roll. This is the only class that anyone has called roll, by the way.
Interesting.
And so she's got a very a sort of crone voice, and she's like, "Today, class, we will explore the essential relationship between magic and flora." And you can see the big tree guy that's in the back of the class is slowly nodding his head as if he's yes, very, very good work, very, very good. And she sort of gives him a bit of a tree wink because they're both tree people. So there might be some particular connection between those two.
The fuck is a tree wink?
A very slow, methodical closing of the eye.
Yeah, fair enough.
But only on one side, so it looks like she's just bugging out.
It's giving sloths from Zootopia.
Yes, it's very similar to the sloth from the DMV. And so she says, "These plants that you'll be working with this year are not just ingredients, but living beings with their own rhythms. Everyone take out your textbooks and turn to Chapter 7, Introduction to Potion Making." And so there's a bit of a class where she's kind of explaining the role of regents. Basically, it's Health Potion 101 is what we're discussing. The theory of health potions, not the application. I will get you to roll your choice of Arcana or Medicine.
I'll go with medicine. That's a 17.
17. So you're taking this quite well. Both you and Shivadri are quite good note takers. You're both helping each other. You know, it's kind of an immediate. There's immediate good camaraderie between you two. You answer a couple questions when your hand is raised. You're very involved in the actual learning itself, and the teacher kind of takes notice of this. Very close towards
my Uber driver's trying to call me.
Hi, are you doing any graffiti on school grounds?
Before we can be friends. Graffiti?
Friends, graffiti. You don't do graffiti on school grounds. Just making sure. I will murder you. You're back?
Yeah.
You haven't been committing any graffiti out there?
No, not yet.
Good. Very good. Okay, cool. So that basically class goes pretty well. You learn a decent amount. Obviously, you read a little bit of this particular class's textbook last night, while you were kind of de-stressing, relaxing, getting into education. Because you weren't sure how education was going to go for you. You weren't really too sold on the idea originally of going to magic school.
Yeah.
This being your first experience that isn't fighting sentient chests, Honestly, it's a good vibe. You're quite enjoying it, I would think. Or do you have any questions for the teacher specifically, or are you going to go straight to the job check?
I don't think so. I think I'm just trying to. I think learning is not a new experience, but like school is a new experience. I think I'm just trying to take in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's more just like make sure double checking notes, cover over what happened to the lesson. Yeah, no, so you get a pretty decent understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you like to do with your extracurricular and/or job phase?
I would like to apply for the barista position at Fire Jolt Cafe.
Awesome. Fun. I believe Fire Jolt Cafe is one of the only places that has a character that is in charge that doesn't work there. Like, there's like an actual boss. So give me 1 second to look that up. Yep, I can run with that description. Okay. So you go to the job board. You're like, all right, if I'm going to be here for any extended period of time, the cafe, you've had at least one cafeteria meal, and it wasn't awful, but it was definitely not what you would describe as good food. It was nourishing to the point of it could be defined as sustenance. But if you're going to want some good food and some good extracurricular stuff, you're going to need money. So you decide, all right, Fire Jolt Cafe. That's pretty close to the Biblioplex. I roughly know where that is. Barista. You worked in the tea shop in the Biblioplex a little bit. You vaguely understand that role. And so you make your way over there.
I have brewer supplies.
You've got brewer supplies. That is that is a benefit. I will say that.
Cook utensils and a herbalism kit. I think I'm well suited.
Holy
to
shit! She's actually she's getting into doing her job. That's wild. Not just the goblin that apparently is the world's best bouncer.
Best bouncer. I thought about some shit. No, I'm kidding.
Just wait till she rolls.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay,
He's right, you know.
So we'll say you get there at about, we're going to go like 1, 2 p.m. It might be the slow shift. But even so, there are quite a lot of people in here ordering. There appears to be a particularly stressed-looking main person running the area. And you also notice, with a quick perception check, if you don't mind.
Yeah. 21.
21. You find it very difficult to not notice. Your roommate works there. She, funnily enough, Mina Lee, I believe, is your roommate. Unless I got it wrong. Yeah. Mina Lee is working as a barista behind the counter next to her boss, who is a tiefling woman named Elena Tanglewood. And they appear to be sort of taking orders. How do you approach the two?
I would wait my turn in line.
Okay.
So I don't just butt in,
Yeah, so there's you're waiting behind like 5 or 6 people. People are ordering cortados. The only other drink I know the name of that isn't coffee or tea. Hot chocolates, I suppose. Somebody tries to order a fucking
caps, lattes, flat whites.
Yeah, someone tries to order a chocolate sundae and they get kicked out of the cafe pretty quickly. And it's your turn, so you approach the two.
Hi, how's it going? My name's Yelan. I saw about the barista position at the Biblioplex. I saw it on the job board, and I was hoping to apply for that if it's not already taken.
Yeah, so as you say that, you see Mina kind of although she's in the back, frothing milk or whatever. I'm not a coffee man. She recognizes your voice and turns around. She says, "Oh, Alina, this is my roommate that I was telling you about." And you can tell Mina's been drinking coffee in the background. That's probably why she works here. This is probably the easiest way to get discount coffee on campus.
Yep.
Elena Tanglewood, the tiefling manager who is taking your order, seems to be just as high-strung as Mina herself. She goes, "Hi, so you want a job?"
Yes, please.
Awesome. Have you been in Bristol before?
I owned the sorry, I didn't own. I helped my parents work the tea shop back in the village.
Oh, awesome. Get behind the counter. Let's see what you can do.
Oh, okay. Do I need an apron? Or is what I'm wearing okay?
Just for the trial. You're not hired yet. Get behind the counter. Let's go.
No, that's fine. Yep, okay. No worries.
Next. And then a couple people start coming up. We'll get you to roll a check. So let's have a look at your relevant tools. So you've got both brewer's supplies and cook's utensils and a herbalism kit. I will get you to roll with a +6. I'll add 2 for each of those.
All right, cool. So I got 16, 10. plus
pretty good roll. So you weren't falsifying documents. You've worked in this sort of industry before, which we also saw when you were in the Biblioplex helping run the cafe. So yeah, you're there for about 45 minutes to an hour. You've done quite a few orders. You've made a couple coffees and teas yourself. You've drunk a little bit that Mina's sort of handed to you in the background. And after about 45 minutes to an hour, Alina Tanglewood turns to you and she goes, "All right, awesome. So you're doing pretty good. So you want a job?"
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're hired. Can you work the rest of the day, or do you have classes today?
Do I have a class?
No,
That's up to me, right?
Well, so you've done your education phase. There'll be the class phase. We'll just assume that it's not technically today, but
yeah, sure.
You won't have any. If you'd used any other resources, you wouldn't have them. That's how we're treating it like it's like a sort of like a mini combat style thing.
Yeah, sure.
Just so that you don't. Every encounter is not just I'm completely fresh. I have everything. I've never used anything. It's basically all it's for. So you can work the rest of the day.
I will. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, and you've already done that good roll. So yeah, you're immediately employed. You already get on pretty well with Mina. Elena seems to be a very high-strung woman. But then again, you've seen her drink a lot of coffee in the background.
Hopefully I can calm her down a little bit. Take something off her plate.
Yeah, because she seems to be drinking the coffee to stay awake. You've seen her when she's not having a coffee like in her hand while she's working. She's working most of her jobs with one hand while drinking out of the other. Every time she puts it down, she nearly falls asleep and has to drink another shot to get back up.
That's not good.
It's not good. She is overworking the hell out of herself. Mm-hmm. Mina's pretty good help, but you'll probably be an additional help because it is just, as far as you can tell, you three on the roster.
Yikes.
Jasper.
Mitch also hasn't done his extracurricular as well.
What did Mitch roll?
Mitch rolled a 1.
Mitch is last then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll do a extracurricular first.
Okay.
I'll go to the big stadium.
So you're gonna go to Strixhaven Stadium?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, so you're gonna go to the Mage Tower Stadium specifically. So Mage Tower is played here. The other fields are for Silk Ball.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, you said Mage Tower was the big sport, so
Mage
yeah,
Tower is the big sport that they're pushing nowadays.
Yeah, I'll go into the Mage Tower Stadium then.
Okay. And so what are you looking for as you enter this area?
I want to, if sports gambling is a thing, they make it known to you. You don't get to your seat without knowing that it exists if it does. So I want to see if there's like a gambling counter. If there's the Keno counter or whether
14.
Yeah.
And?
Sorry, my bad.
I'll get you to roll and just an investigation check off the cuff.
2 on the dice, 9.
9. So you don't see any immediate.
7?
I do have +7. Yeah. I have expertise.
You don't see any immediate, like walking in ticket of people selling gambling. Like there doesn't seem to be any school-run gambling specifically. But you like, hey, fuck, I'm gonna go down the seat, see if I can find anything else in the weeds. And as you sort of take a seat, probably within about the first 30 seconds of you sitting down, another kid sort of sits behind you. And I say kid quite literally. The person looks like he might be the same age as you, but he's not a halfling. He looks like he's sort of a human youth. Get you roll a perception check on him.
1 lucky halfling reroll.
Mm-hmm.
19.
19. So you sit down. So he sits down next to you, and you kind of like have a bit of a gleam over him. So he's wearing a sort of newspaper boy's hat with a sort of like what appears to be a seat ticket sitting out at the top of it. He's got suspenders with a little bow tie on, and he's got very fancy looking shoes. And so he kind of like leans back and he whispers like, "Man, watching sports is just no fun without a little bit of extra action, don't you agree?"
That's what I'm saying, good sir. Do you know where I could get that action?
Oh, I suppose I do. Let's say I'll tell you the odds real quick, and let's see if you want to do any particular bets. So right now, this game that we're watching here is Prismari versus Witherbloom. So you got 3-1 odds on Prismari winning, and 5-2 odds on the game ending in a tie. Which bet would you like to make?
Insight check to see which would be more profitable to me.
Mm-hmm.
22.
22. Okay. So you how much gold do you have, by the way?
8.
8. The 3-to-1 odds, if you get the bet correct, I believe, would make you more money. Looking at the actual game itself and seeing where the game is currently, the game has only recently started. Prismari does not seem to be winning, but it looks like they've got a lot of people that are benched that look ready to go, whereas the Witherbloom side has a lot less people currently benched. So they might actually just have a team imbalance. Like Prismari might have more players available to them to sub in.
Alright, I will take 4 gold for Prismari.
Right, ya, sir, right, ya. And so he grabs the ticket out of his hat, and the ticket itself doesn't move, but an exact copy of that ticket kind of plucks out into his hand. And so he gets you to sign your name on the bottom of it, and it already has the agreement to which bet you're doing. Okay, so you hand him over the gold, and he kind of like walks up and he says, "I'll come see you at the end if you want, all right? Don't worry, we're not going to rob you."
I'll keep an eye on where he's walking around and make sure that he is in my line of sight at all times.
Okay, well, I'll get you to roll a perception check.
16.
16, you said?
I mean,
Okay. You do see him trying to make it quite hard to, like he's ducking in between people, taking bets throughout the stadium, but throughout the entirety of it, you're not watching the game, you're watching him. And
I'm purely watching him.
You do manage to keep track of him pretty much throughout the whole game. The game does end up with Prismari very, very closely clutching, so you have won a successful bet.
I will keep watching him until he walks up to me to pay out.
Yep. So you see him kind of going like through the people. There are a lot of people that are disgruntled as he's walking by. A lot of people that are happy as he's walking by. And he eventually makes his way over to you, and he ends up paying you out. And he's went, not bad judgment, guy.
You know, 3-to-1 odds was a bit favorable.
Kind of message.
The Prismari side, they clearly had more people available. They might not have been winning at the start, but it was inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I told the boss, but the boss said it's a new year. You got to kind of try and convince a couple of people that they're going to make smart bets so that they keep coming back later in the year thinking they're going to make money.
Who's this boss?
Who wants to know?
I do.
You were first year, I understand?
Yes, sir.
Very well, then. My name's Skip Quickhands Tyndall. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Skip Quickhands. Is that first name?
It's Skip, quotation marks, Quickhands.
Okay, yeah, that makes a hell of a lot more sense.
He's Skip the Quickhands Tyndall.
Yep, okay. No, nice to meet you, Skip. I'm Millhouse, and I'll reach out.
Yeah, so as he shakes your hand, he's like, "How old are you, Millhouse?"
14?
Are you sure? He's looking at the beard, as you would imagine.
Yeah. And I'll just, like, look down at my feet. And, like, the uwu girl pose.
the manic pixie girl, e-girl pose, where you're looking at your shoes.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, I didn't mean anything by it. I mean, hey, you know, I'm not 14 either, but I look it, don't I?"
To be fair, if people look at me, they do assume I'm an 80-year-old half.
Yeah. So Skip kind of says, like, "Don't worry about it. I'm actually 18, but I got cursed in my first year, and I keep having a resit. I don't go to many of my classes."
I've not been to many either.
Hey, so you wanted to know who's running this operation, right?
Yes, sir. I would like to meet them.
Well, I mean, it looks like you got a good head on your shoulders, and you're interested in the business. It's a good start. The guy that runs the business is, you might have heard him. His name's Fane. They call him the Broker.
I was about to say, why do they call him that?
Why do they call him the Broker? They call him Jeff the Accountant. Why do they call him Jeff?
Why do they call him the Accountant? Where does Fane normally conduct business?
Look, I'd love to tell you that, but I probably got to run by Fane first. You know, he's although he's always interested in new meat at the fresh start of the year, he's not a trusting guy. If I just gave everybody where Fane was all the time, a lot of angry people who have made some pretty poor bets would try and go and find him. You understand, right?
Of course. I assume the schedule is known for what colleges are fighting. Not fight. I'm blanking on the word. Playing against.
Yeah.
Other colleges. What would be the next match?
The next match is Lawhold versus Prismari.
Could I insight check into what preferable odds would be?
I would actually need to roll an investigation check to try and figure out what the odds
I far prefer investigation. Thank you for saying that. Crit +7 expertise.
Okay. So obviously that match isn't today. You'd be spending time during this phase to try and figure out who's going to be. But when you do that, you will have a good idea of who's going to win, which is Lawhold heavily favored to win. They are by far the most athletic school.
Just give me a number X to 1 to say to Fane. That would be favorable to Fane, of course.
Yeah. We'll just go with that. You'll be able to advise him. Yeah. Of like the probably preferable odds. It's going to be like, I don't want to get too into the weeds of naming odds every single time because it's just going to be.
I literally just wanted it this one time so I could in dialogue with Fane be like,
okay.
Lawhold 4-1 is your best odds.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's saying that Fane probably won't see you today just because it's a bit pretty off the cuff, and Fane would probably want to research who you are first before he agrees to meet with you. That's sort of the vibe that you're getting. So, your boy. Tab back to my notes. Skip. He's like, I can probably set up a meeting with you. So what, you think you'll be able to give a pretty good indication of who's going to win the next match?
I generally have the ability to do that, yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'll put my neck out for you, Millhouse. I'll try and get you a meeting with Fane, okay?
When do you think I would be able to meet with him?
Well, the Lawhold versus Prismari game is in a couple of days. It's not today. After we see the results of that match, we'll take your information on board for this one, and if you end up being helpful with that information, if it goes in line at least with what we think is going to happen, we'll pay you out an amount of money because it would be rude to take this information from you with no economic benefit to yourself. You understand?
Of course. Give me some time to do some research, and can I meet you back here later?
Oh, you can always meet me at the stadium. I'm always here.
I'm always at the stadium.
I never go to my classes.
I intend to use my education phase, the rest of this phase, researching and coming up with the conclusion, and then the education phase to talk to Skip again.
Okay. Yep. Well, we can just do a bit of a time skip then, because if you're not going to go to the classes, we just basically a couple of days pass. It's the day of the big game. You don't find Skip immediately, but you're like, I'm just going to sit and watch the match and see what's happening and trying to listen out to see if you can see the betters.
I would definitely be there pre-match. I'd be there like an hour before trying to find Skip.
Yep.
Because they would want the betting odds before people start making bets.
Yeah, I'll get your roll investigation.
1 lucky halfling becomes an 8 + 7, 15.
Not bad. Okay. So you will eventually end up finding Skip. He's sort of like set up in the bathroom. He's taking a couple bets from a couple of guys.
He's taking a shit.
No, so what he's got is one of the stalls, when you open it up and you hit a particular tile, opens up to a small little office that he's working out of.
I like that.
So you end up actually finding him in there, and he's like, hey, it's Millhouse, right?
Yeah. Hi, Skip.
You got those odds?
Lawhold 4-1.
Lawhold 4-1. All right, we'll give it a shot. We'll see how profitable that is. Obviously, they want people to bet the opposite because they don't want people to make money. They want to make the majority of the money.
I'm saying, quote unquote, 4-1 is favorable odds for the bookie that they make the money.
Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to establish that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make the people make money.
Yeah, all the bettors like, oh man, I'm rich. This is fucking awesome. Yeah, so they're going to push the narrative that benefits them. Yeah, and so you rolled really good investigation. You rolled multiple times. That ends up going through. You definitely notice throughout the day you see Skip running around and a couple other people running around taking bets as well. And by the end,
I'll make note of who else is taking bets.
Yeah,
just make note of faces.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, so by the end of the day, there are a lot of unhappy people in Strixhaven Stadium. The people that are just there for the love of the game, and the Lawhold fan base is quite strong. They're loving it. But the people, like, you see a couple Silver Quill guys, they're not happy. You see a couple Quandrix people that looks like they tried to do the math themselves, and they might have gotten, like, persuaded by the bookies to vote the other way, or to bet the other way. And so there are a lot of unhappy faces. But you see Skip he's over the moon. He's very, very happy with how today has turned out. And at the end of it...
I wait for him to come to me.
Yeah, he sends a message to come meet you in the bathroom office.
Okay, yeah.
So as you walk in, he's like, there he is! There's the guy! What do you do?
Uwu girl, stare at my feet.
Hey, don't be so shy, kid. You made us a lot of money today. Here's a bit of your cut. And so he hands you 30 gold pieces.
Also, sorry, how much did I make for my bet earlier? It was 3-1. I bet 4 gold, which means I make an extra 8.
Yeah, you don't include the original bet. You get the bonus after.
Yeah. So it's 33, you said?
Yeah.
So 41, including my bet that I made.
Because it would assume that on Lawhold, you don't bet on the game that you gave the odds for, because they'd be like,
yeah, no, I didn't bet on that one. Yeah.
So it's like,
I bet on the one for my in.
Yeah. So he's like, you know what, Fane is gonna like what you did. I'd like to set up a meeting between you and Fane. You got time next week to go meet him?
I would prefer it to be sooner.
Unfortunately, his schedule's very booked. Unfortunately, he's a very busy man. And Fane, unlike me, he actually attends his classes. He doesn't want to get kicked out just yet.
Laying low.
He's laying low. I mean, look, Fane's a Strixhaven student. Like through and through, he's an actual he goes to Silver Quill. And from my understanding, he does quite well, honestly. But he doesn't use his real name in class. That would be ridiculous. Yeah. So you know what? I'll set up a meeting with you and him, and we'll go from there. All right?
Out of game.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 20 on my portent roll, and I would fucking love to be able to talk to Fane and have a crit on one of my rolls with Fane.
I would say there is the not possibility of it happening this week, pretty much regardless of what you like. It's cool that you've got the crit, but not everything is just possible. So
yeah,
it's not possible
fair.
today.
That's fair.
It means you're gonna probably ace an exam.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's what I gotta use it for at this point. I had a crit and a 4, so I wanted to do a deception check where I put the crit for me and the 4 on the wisdom saving throw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. Match!
Sorry, I muted because my mom came in. No, I'm not in the wall.
There was a chance you were. to find out. We're up to you, Captain One.
Yeah. No, I've been here the whole time. I just was muted.
All right. Yeah, your choice. What would you like to do for your educational or extracurricular phase?
Educational, I already did illusions.
True, you already did. Yeah, what do you do for your extracurricular phase then?
Well, yeah, I've got to look for the drama guild.
So you're going to go to the Play Actors Drama Guild.
Yeah.
Very good. Are you going to try and bring anyone else with you, or are you going to go alone?
I want to go just by myself.
You're gonna check the vibe. You're gonna see what it's like. Okay, so you decide you're gonna go to the Play Actors Drama Guild. This is located, boom, on the Prismari campus, as one would imagine it would be. Vaguely near the Conjurate Hall, you'll find like a large sort of a theater. They're practicing. This isn't the main theater that they use for actually, doing performances. There is a dedicated area, but this is where the actual club itself is designated. What kind of emotions are you entering with? Like, what are the vibes you're giving off?
Hopeful, excited. I'm looking to come see, if this seems fun and seems like something I want to continue.
Okay, so as you enter, there appears to be a sort of a scene that's already playing. So you enter, and the room is quiet except for the small stage with a couple of lights that are currently up. As you enter, you sort of like, take an area just to the side so you can see what's going on. So there appears to be two different actors that are on the stage. One you recognize as Quintilius, obviously. Who else would it be? And there is another woman, obviously a first year, sort of dark skin, black hair with a couple of streaks of white in it. Relatively attractive, you would say off the cuff. And they appear to be both sort of doing what looks like a monologue between two characters. I'll get you to roll a perception check.
22.
As you enter, Quintilius is doing his section of the monologue, and as you do recognize immediately, no history check required, he's doing the section he was performing, doing the Biblioplex orientation stage, which he is doing in that language that you understand every fifth word, roughly. As he begins this monologue, the woman that is on stage with him, very quickly for a second, breaks her she's like must be smiling and looking at the character Quintilius is portraying lovingly, but her facade breaks for a very quick second as she's very angry that he is doing it in a language that is not common, and then she quickly fixes that. You clock that immediately. So when it gets back to her turn, she's doing very grandiose gestures. Her voice carries very well throughout the room. And at the end of the scene, you're pretty impressed. This was a pretty good. You didn't really catch what the context is of this scene as you entered. Random point throughout it. You have no idea. But you'd say, out of all the musical theater that you've ever seen, which is probably just fairs that have come through your farm town, this is something new, and it is something exciting. What do you do?
Does anyone else at the end? Does anyone else clap?
There's some polite clapping that's going on.
I'll give it some nice little, just modest clapping to go with
just
it.
a bit of golf clapping. So
you don't clap because they did well. You clap because they tried.
Yeah. And so they both take very deep bows, and they look at each other. Quintilius, big grin. he thinks he did exceptionally well. The other woman seems to sort of give him a bit of a nod, and then seems to go immediately back towards the stage area. And Quintilius, at this point, clocks you. He sees you, and he's got the biggest smile on his face. He's in his element. He's in his place where he feels most comfortable, and he comes straight to you. So as he approaches you, he goes, "Valafork, my friend! Did you see that? Did you see how good I was up on the stage?
I did see quite a performance up there.
I knew you would understand, you and Gobble. You get it. You get the theater. Trust me, I mean, I don't know if you've seen Valathort's Betrayal, which is the name of the play we were just doing, but I think personally that doing it in the language of Sylvan really adds to the bang of the performance. Do you agree with me?
What is it normally performed in?
He's like, it's normally performed in just, it was originally written in the Sylvan language by the Dryads of the Far Mountains, but it's commonly performed in just, the common vernacular, just so everybody, I suppose, can understand. But it's not as good in common, you understand? It's not as powerful. The Sylvans, their slow, methodic speaking, it really adds to my performance. Surely you agree?
No, I get that, but if this is going to be performed in for the people who don't appreciate it enough, they might not get where you're coming from.
He has a look of confusion that he doesn't understand what you're saying. he can't comprehend that people would not want to hear it in Sylvan. To him, it being performed in the original language is the point of going to see the play.
Critics love this guy.
I think you're a bit confused. I love it. Other people might not get it. They might not get the extra effort you're putting in, Quintilius.
Let me roll him an insight with disadvantage, because he doesn't want to face the reality. He doesn't get what you mean. he's like, but the Sylvan language.
I'll write it down for you one day. We'll draw out a chart.
But
anyway,
look, let me perform the piece in common, and then you understand why Sylvan is better. And he begins going into this monologue. How long do you politely wait? It's been 4 minutes at this point, and he's still going.
Quintilius. Do I need to sign up or something to join this club?
Right, of course, you've come to join. You've come to join. My apologies. I nearly forgot. I will have to speak to Rubina on that one. She's actually in charge of the first year productions. So how it works is each year level you're here does a different production. So we work in groups. That way you get used to the people you're working with.
I'd like to you, DM. When he's doing this speech, are people like looking at him weird?
Yes. There are a couple people that there are a couple like very obvious Prismari second years that seem to be agreeing with him that they personally think it is better in Sylvan, but they are art students. It's like if you go to a slam poetry club, right? And the average person hates slam poetry. They like I don't know about you. I fucking just like it's like when there's a guy in a beret and he's smoking a cigarette and there's a bongo drum playing in the background. They're like, what is pain? What is love? The average person can't stand that, but the people that love it.
Yeah.
So there are a couple people in the second year and the third year that they're on Quintilius' side, but a lot of the other generic first years you see confused and think he's weird.
And they'll be the people that drop out.
They'll be yes, you caught that straight away. They're the people that they haven't drunk the Kool-Aid yet. They haven't signed on to the Play Actors Drama Guild. They came to see what all the fuss was about. Because their plays are usually pretty highly rated.
Yeah. All right, you better show me to this person then. If I am to sign up.
Yes, Rubina! And he runs off and he brings back the woman that looked disapprovingly at Quintilius previously. The one that did the other half of the monologue. She's got a very polite smile. She's going to do a quick roll on you. And so she looks you up and down, and she notices your strong build, the set of your jaw. She notices that you're relatively conventionally attractive. And she's like, this is not a bad prospect. And so she goes, charmed to meet you, Valifork, is it?
Valifork is correct. And your name was again?
I am Rubina Larkingdale, she says with a flourish, and she does a bit of a pose with her hands when she says it, and a bit of sparks come out of her hands as she does. And there's a trumpet sound when she does it. A couple of the first years clap. Couple walk out of the room.
Yeah. There's a litmus test for whether or not you can get
it's whether you can stomach this. Some people find out very quickly whether or not they fit in at the Play Actors Drama Guild. My good friend Quintilius says you're interested in joining us this year.
I am. I'm open to try some new things, and Quintilius' performance the other day sold me.
Did it? she says, well, do you have any history on theatre and the stage? It's not required, obviously, but I thought I'd ask.
Unfortunately, none.
Well, let's put you through the ringer, as it were. Let's do a bit of a prompt just to see how you go, okay? Here, I'll give you the script, and she gives you a bit of the script that you were working on. And she says, now go up on the stage, and if you could just read paragraph 3 in a loud, booming voice. We'll see how you do. So what do you do? You've been handed a bit of the play. She's asking you to do a line read in front of first years, a couple second years.
I'm gonna send it.
You must send it. All right, so you go up, and I'll get a performance check from Valifork.
Awesome. -1.
-1.
Let's go!
This is where my character was going. 15.
Not bad. Not bad. Better than even you were assuming was going to happen.
Why does your performance thing say -1 + 1 d4?
I have a d4 to the roll, but I have a -1 to the actual.
The d4 is d4 from Elven Heritage or something, or
something.
It's from something. It's from some 5.5e nonsense. So you go up, you do the roll. It's sort of like the role of, funnily enough, a herder that's lost his love and wants to find her again, which you identify with, at least on the herder half. That bit you know quite well. And you kind of incorporate that into your performance. You use your crooked spear that you carry around, which is actually just like a shepherd's staff. You use that as a bit of a prop, and there's a very light, polite applause at the end. And Quintilius is giving you 2 big thumbs up. And Rubina sort of nods seemingly approvingly. She's like, not bad, Valafork. So, are you interested in being a performer or more of a stagehand? Just have to ask.
I put my arm, walk back over to Quintilius. Am I taller or shorter than Quintilius?
You are taller than Quintilius.
I'll put my arm on his shoulder and I tap his stomach and I go, whatever this man over here needs me for.
And he slaps you on the back as hard as he can, which is not very hard. And he goes, I told you, Rubina, he's perfect. She goes, yeah, very well. Here's the form. So we meet and she gives you the schedule for when to meet. It fits into your schedule. You are a person that did take 5 classes, correct?
Correct.
So there is a bit of a strain. Nothing that you can't manage. This is like the only difference between taking 4 and 5 is your character has slightly less time to do things. It just means things might be harder or easier depending. But you can fit it in your schedule at least the majority of the meetings.
I just got no free time.
You just don't have that much free time. Basically correct. And you successfully joined the Play Actors Drama Guild. Congratulations.
Awesome. I will say, Quintilius, you've got to come to my room and celebrate with me.
Of course, my friend, of course. And he comes back to you. Quintilius believes...
We must do this over a few Chardonnays.
Quintilius, so let's dissect the mental state of our friend Quintilius. He has, on the first day, met 2 people that he greatly associated with, who both seemed interested in theatre. He then had one of them come, do quite a good performance, and then like instantly say they have each other's back. Quintilius at this moment is like, Valafork is my best friend. Flat. There's no way about it. Everyone I met so far, me and Valafork, we're buddies. So he comes back to his friend's room, because why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he come and celebrate the union of theatre with his friend? And so you're leading the way, Valafork. What do you describe you as you enter the dormitory and you head towards your room? What do you say? What are we doing?
I'm just talking about how excited I am to like do some acting with him, to try and get some inspiration from him and all that. Of course. I've got no training. Me, farm boy. Tell him a bit about my history. From the farm, I've lasered a cow. This is all brand new to me. I don't know what's going on, but I'm very grateful I've made so many new friends on the first day. Speaking of which, here's my roommate.
Inside is Caterus Delmar. He is sporting a Robin Hood-like attire. So he's got the green tights on, he's got the Robin Hood hat with a big feather in his cap, and he has a very expensive-looking prop bow that looks like he's bought quite recently, and he's miming shooting, and as you walk into the room, he points it at you and he goes, "Ha-ha! I've got you now, you devilish dog!" You're standing there, and Quintilius is looking with absolute abhorrence at what he's seeing.
I put my hands up. Oh, don't shoot!
Oh, it's too late for that, Valafork! Pew! Pew! And he's making that sound. He's not shooting anything.
I do the same minor illusion again that I did the other day. Go to the ground with blood. Ah!
Yes, as you fall to the cover of blood miming, he does a big laugh and he points the bow at Quintilius. Who, I'm going to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution, I think, is correct here.
Perception from you, Valafork.
9.
I'll have to think canon. Valafork does not notice it, but Quintilius vomits slightly in his mouth and swallows it back down. We know that. Valafork doesn't know that. And he goes, actually, Valafork, I've got somewhere to be, actually. I'm sorry, Caterus, but I'm actually we'll have to celebrate another time, maybe in my room. Bye!
Did I roll inside on that deception?
Yeah. Roll inside on that deception. I'll roll the deception.
30-20.
And I'll also roll Caterus's insight. He's lying. You know that. Caterus doesn't. So he goes.
I just like put my hand out like longing, like what was wrong? I didn't say anything else.
See you later.
I just have my hand out like,
where are my friends going?
Where are my friends going?
Cataris turns to you and says, I told you that guy's always busy. And we'll cut the scene there. We're all working on the class track now.
You're
Everyone stay which class you're intending. Just type it in chat, I guess, which class you're intending to go, and then we work out who we run as a collective. No, we don't.
Archaeomancy.
As said before, I'll reiterate this. So if you did an education phase for a particular class, write down that you did. Treat it as you've got a token for that class, and that doesn't get expended until you go to that class. But you don't have to go to that class right now. You get to keep that benefit. Mitch is going for illusion. Thank you, Tom. Illusion education phase attended. Important to know. Yep. Yeah, I think that's a good way to write it, so I know what I'm adding and what I'm not adding.
And if you've stacked it up 2x, 3x.
Of course I did, Tom. Like, I would be a fool not to.
It's just easier. You wanted Mitch to roll the dice if he could correctly type education phase attended? Mitch? Nah.
Are we with magic philosophies, because we all have that? Are we doing that as a joint class?
That's going to be an event phase.
That's going to be an event phase, correct.
Yeah.
So the next thing we'll do in the next session is attend magical philosophies.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if I want to go to Archaeomancy or Runes.
I'm going to Archaeomancy.
Do I miss an exam if I don't go to Archaeomancy while he's going to an exam in Archaeomancy?
No, you will not. Too difficult.
I assume canonically
there are multiple classes.
Okay, yeah, that's a much better way to do it.
And so, there are multiple classes. Okay, here's what I would say. There's an open schedule where there are just sometimes you can go to the class that's available to you that day. Meaning sometimes you'll take an exam with your friends, sometimes you won't. We're not going to think about that bit too mechanically difficult because it's just going to introduce problems.
I will say I like the phase system. It is very long.
There's not a really quick way to do it if we're role-playing the entire thing.
I like the individual segments for everyone.
It's just like you do your segment, and if you're not doing your segment, you're probably switched off.
Yeah.
No, one second.
I was paying attention during everyone's segment, but it was like, I don't have to say, I'm going to be right back, I'm taking a piss. I
will take no offense if it's not your turn. Open TFT. Play some New World. Do some stuff in the background. You're more than free. If this is how we're going to play this, there's going to be a lot of background time. Where you that's what's gonna happen. Steph taking PE.
I'm also gonna take PE. I changed my mind.
Wait, Steph, did you mean to take PE?
Yeah.
You didn't do an education phase of PE. You did botany.
Oh, sorry, I got confused. I thought this was okay. Never mind.
Only do education phase if you went to that class during
that was the class that I did earlier. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you're good. Mitch, but Mitch has been like, oh yeah, PE. I can go to PE.
I'll do PE. I'll keep illusions for another week. I'll do PE this week.
Okay.
I'm used to a lot of physical labor. I need to do something physical in the week.
I'd say the class bits are probably the quickest thing to run because it's really me going, here's what you do. Here is the skill checks you're doing. Tell me if you want to do something creative. So it won't take that long to run. I'll cover this how this works again. So the education phase is just to go to a class to learn, but you're not being graded on anything. Okay. This phase it counts towards your grade towards the end of the year. So Mitch doing PE as his physical grade, he's going to get a score based on how well he rolls, how well he does the checks. And then we're going to keep note of that score. And then when it comes to the end of the year, because you're going to get an overall report card, you're going to get a grade. Depending on how well you did, positive or negative. And also at the end of the year, you're going to try and do your interviews for particular colleges. So they're going to look at, all right, you studied a Silver Quill thing this year, and you got an A. That's definitely going to let you possibly get in, because why would we say no? But if you failed the Silver Quill class, the one Silver Quill class you attended, they'd be like, no, pick another one or retake year one again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so education phase is just to get benefits for taking classes later.
Okay.
That's mostly what it's for. But we still roleplay them because it's more interesting. You get to talk to characters and go through. This is going to be pretty streamlined where I'm basically going to describe an area, describe who's doing the test that day. Because if multiple people are taking the class, you might work together. Depends on what the task is that day. And then we roll a bunch of skill checks and then we see how you did.
Yeah.
I think everyone is now taking a unique class. Correct.
What's Jasper doing?
He's doing Archaeomancy.
I wrote it in Roll20.
Yep, so everyone is doing a unique class. Just roll a d20 again to decide order. This is the easiest way to do it. So far,
I
Tom
rolled
is
6. My other two rolls.
We're drawn.
Mitch and Tom are drawn. So it'll be a tiebreaker.
pick or do a tiebreaker.
I'm fucking rolling another d20 then.
I think Mitch is winning.
You're statistically going to win.
7.
You won. You're first.
Close.
I'm gonna go for a piss.
All right. PE. Let's go to PE. We are located at one of the aeronaut fields that is on the central campus. Let's see other people who are here. There is a giant bugbear with grey fur. Looks like a barbarian. There is a young elven woman. Looks like she's some form of a ranger. Those two seem to be hanging out together. There is a giant elephant man wearing plate armor.
Yep.
There is a giant tree guy who we also met before. Who the fuck is Greta? There is a dwarf wearing a leotard, and this time I mean leotard. Girl, obviously. And there is a guy who is wearing like a sort of like a college letterman's jacket. And he seems to be doing aerobic stretches before the day starts. He seems to be doing sort of like cheering, it's like a cheerleader routine, basically. And your teacher, Hoffrey Ghostforge, waddles out. He is a dwarf. He's a battle medium. He's a bit of a spirit guy. He is Lawhold aligned. So he tells this is what he says. All right, listen up. If you're planning to be a successful adventurer, you better know how to move your body as well as your mind. Physical endurance is the backbone of surviving. Today we'll be doing a test of stamina and speed. This is called the aerobic fitness test, also known as the horn test. If you can't keep up with this, you might want to reconsider your adventurer career. Everybody line up at the mark, and then it plays a recording. The Fitnessgram Pacer test. It's the beep test from high school. You're doing the beep test till you drop.
Everyone remember their beep test scores?
Pretty good when I was younger, not good in high school.
Is this the character? Did you play this as a commander, Sam? Is this the spirit?
Yeah, this is the Harfrey Ghostforge, the spirit commander. He's a Lawhold guy.
Okay, yeah, I remember you played him. He's actually pretty good.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that are just Magic the Gathering cards.
Like Varen, voice of duality.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, Jasper. If I told you my best beep test score, you wouldn't believe me.
I think I would. I genuinely think my best beep test score was 2.1.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very bad.
I expect Mitch's best actually pretty good. He used to play a lot of football.
Yeah, you said
13,
soccer boy.
13.
13's better than I think I was 12
That's
or
very
something when I did a good score. Okay, so yeah.
I think sorry to interrupt, but I think like the literal best in my year level was like 15.
Yeah, it was in soccer, and there was like 4 of us still going there, and like 2 of us gave up at 13-13. 1 went at 13-14, and then 1 pushed 2 more to get 13-16, and we were fucked.
I was really wanting to give up at 2.0, but the other fat kid in the class I was with hadn't given up yet, so I pushed forward 1 more until he gave up, and I was like, yep, cool, I'm done as well.
My favorite memory of the beep test is the beep test starting. This is in like year 6, I think, in primary school. And all the boys had collectively agreed to, at the first beep test, all pretend to fall over and pretend to be in pain. So it started, and we all did the Peter Griffin Family Guy. That's what we all did. And then we all got up and limped to the other side of the gym. Oh, that was a good memory.
I think I got like a 4. I know I didn't do well.
I didn't do well in high school, but that's just because I was no longer fit in high school.
I remember doing it in like year 8, and I remember feeling good because I think I had the second best for the amount of push-ups in 60 seconds, and then I didn't do very well. I did one of the worst in the beep test.
I think I was top 5 for push-ups. I just did terribly in the beep test.
I think I blocked PE out of my fucking memory.
Based. All right, let's get through the aerobic horn test. So every little bit of a passage of time, a horn will beep, and you'll have to get fast and faster. The test continues until the last student fails to complete a lap before the beep happens, or you finish it at 20. 20 is the max for this.
Yep.
Okay. On your mark, get set. Everyone lines up, and a horn goes. Okay, I need an athletics check from Valafork.
21.
21. Okay, yeah. And so you very quickly you'll pace yourself. Other students are sprinting past you, but you and the sort of cheerleader kid are sort of just like jogging together, kind of at like a very even pace. The big tree guy lumbering very slowly behind you, but not so much that he's going to get out in the first beep. So we get approximately to about sort of around the tier 7 area where the tree guy ends up falling out, and you make it. I'll get another athletics check from you at this point.
21.
21. Yeah, so you keep on going. You and particularly the cheerleader kid are the ones that are sort of setting the pace. At this point, when you get roughly to about like the 10s and the 11s, the dwarven chick in the leotard sort of ends up falling behind. So does the elven ranger chick. But it looks like she kind of gives up the second she reaches 10, as if that's like that level that she's like happy with. Strange thing to do during an assessment, but it's what she does. So at this point, as we get further and further
I would like
up,
to point out that's an 11, not a 21.
No, I have advantage on athletics checks. So that's a 21 and an 11.
Yeah. He's a barbarian.
Yes,
You
sir.
roll
Yes,
a
sir.
21, a 20, and a 21 and an 11.
So I hovered over it, and I hovered over the 11, and it said 9 plus 2 equals 11, and I'm like, huh?
So a bunch of other nameless generic first years are pretty much out at this point. So everyone's kind of just watching. It's you, the cheerleader guy, and the big bugbear are the ones that are majoritively left going.
Oh man, when you get to that end with a couple people, you gotta push.
So at this point, when it's a couple people, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Awesome.
Sam realizes the barbarian has advantage.
No, I know it did. The bugbear that he's racing against is also a barbarian.
Funny.
20. Yeah, at this point, you and the barbarian, the bugbear, are kind of going neck and neck. The cheerleader guy seems pretty satisfied with a score of 14. And he bails out at this point. And he's there are many, mind you, the cheerleader guy, very, very attractive. He goes sit down, a lot of girls immediately sit next to him. He's like a glistening Greek god, essentially. And it's just you and the big sweaty bugbear just going at it. One last athletics check.
17.
17. You just barely, you're getting close. So at the 19, you're literally sprinting as fast as you can to keep up with this thing.
Fucking exhausted.
The horns go. You're covering as much ground as you can. The barbarian bugbear falls just behind you. He rolled a little bit worse than you. And he tries to, so he jumps out at about 18 and a half, roughly there. And you cap out just a 19. You don't finish all the way to 20, but you are by far the best in your grade. And the test ends, and Hoffrey comes up and slaps you and the barbarian on the back and gives you great commendations. You've done exceptionally well. And for this class, you've gotten an A+.
Did he slap me on the back in hard at all?
Yes.
Or was it a light slap?
Slaps you on the back. If you'd like to throw up, yeah.
Fall over. Because I'm not dumb.
The barbarian also does as well. And he's actually, at this point, I'm going to make one more Constitution saving throw for him. He vomits. There's vomit all coming out of the bugbear barbarian's mouth.
Oh dear.
But he does eventually. Yeah, you roll a con
I
save.
think that's about that sort of thing.
It's DC 16.
Okay, I rolled a 1, so it's 6, so...
the mere act of him vomiting makes you vomit. It brings you back to reality. And he after recovering, he kind of raises his hand and he tries to give you a fist bump.
I'll give him a fist bump. I'll try it.
Good work out there.
Next time you'll beat me.
Damn right. And he passes out in a pool of his own vomit. That was Grognar Warlash, who the elven girl that jumped out of the thing quite early, kind of like puts him up on his shoulders and carries him away, and they appear to be aligned in some capacity.
How did Rampart do?
Did not do well.
Did he take off his plate armor?
No, that was the problem. He did not take off the plate armor at all, because when Hoffrey was arguing with him, he said, in a real battle, you would be wearing the plate armor. So he refused to take it off. He didn't do too bad. He didn't go out immediately. He went at about 8 or 9. Not bad, but he is massive.
Lower middle of the pack.
Yeah. So yeah, Mitch, right, please record that you got an A+ in today's aerobic fitness exam. So yeah, Gobble, which class are you doing?
Illusion.
You're attending illusion.
Can I actually swap over to doing illusion as well?
Yes, I would. I'm not. You're not locked in. This ain't the quiz. Cool. So yeah. So you're illusion, no study, and Tom is illusion study.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we're back at the Quandrix lab room 4B. So we're back here with Dika, the fractal theatist, and Veyran, the voice of duality. So they're running the exam today. Students will be tasked with creating a simple visual illusion, such as a floating object or a shifting image, based on the principles of magical light. The illusion must be aesthetically pleasing and mathematically precise. They must use illusion spells or conjure the illusion in some other capacity. So yeah, you're tasked with creating a floating object or shifting image however you can. You've got about 30 minutes to come up with an idea and then present it. What do you do? There will be skill checks based upon what you decide to do.
So I've got to make
You've got to make and I'll quote again, a floating object or shifting image. Shifting image being an image that is moving, so it can't be stationary. If your spell doesn't specifically say you can do it, as long as you can argue a way that you could try to do it using spells available to you, and mind you, not just one spell. If you want to combine a couple of spells, you can. Basically,
I already know exactly what I'm doing. I knew what I was doing going into this.
Well, Tom, we'll give you some time. We'll wait.
I'm happy to go first. I knew what I was doing going into this.
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, we'll say that you're presenting relatively early.
Okay. Can I create bonfire? Does explicitly say create a bonfire on ground that you can see.
Yes.
Can I do it midair? If not, I can prestidigitation, do it into a torch. I want to do control flames.
I would say, yeah, I'd let you have the bonfire hovering in air. It is made by magic.
Honestly, not even for fucking gameplay, but just for...
Yeah, no, for the purposes of this exam. Exactly. Yeah. Don't think of your spells exactly as the way they are worded.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's not possible to run this exam.
Yeah, okay. I will cast my cantrip create bonfire in the middle of the air, and I will control flames and make as intricate Strixhaven logo as I can manage.
Out of the fire. Okay. So you use both those resources. What I'll get you to do, there'll be 2 major checks that we'll start with, and there'll be a 3rd check for extra credit. So I'll get you to do a persuasion roll to explain how this meets the criteria and how you're actually performing the image. Just an easy persuasion roll.
Easy. Okay, you did specify easy.
It's quite easy. It's not difficult.
6.
Yeah, you sort of, you explain the vague, like you explain the spells that you're using and you explain how you're controlling the flames, but you're struggling to explain specifically how this is relating to mathematical precision, which was one of the key notes of the actual task. Because it's aesthetically pleasing, which it is aesthetically pleasing, but it's not particularly mathematically precise. I will get you now to do, I'll get you to perform an Arcana check now as well.
Yeah, I should have used my crit on the other one. I mean, sorry, you said 2, maybe 3 checks, right?
The 3rd check will be for extra credit. As in, like, it'll be like, it's not required, but you'll get a better score if you
Okay, yeah, I'll actually roll Arcana then, and then I'll use my portent crit on the other one. Ooh, not great either, 14.
14 is not too bad. That is going to pass that check. So, yeah, although you couldn't explain it particularly well, you sort of like restart the spell and recast it and sort of, make the Strixhaven logo, and you try to fix it a little bit more, and you try to say how, people could be convinced that this is a real, like, magical, like, not illusion, that it's real magic, etc. From a distance, and like ways that you could distract people with it. And so they're buying it. So I'll get you to do one last check. 1 second.
I'll portent crit.
You'll important crit. So this check was just a deception check, because they're going to ask you to try and change it off the cuff. This is the bit where they get you, where they're like, all right, cool, change it into something else now. And you managed to do that expertly. So they ask you to change into the picture of a walking man, and you do so. You turn the floating Strixhaven fire into a walking man. Just like a little like stick figure basically walking back and forth, and like, very good. I
do the Michael Jackson moonwalk specifically.
Yeah, and then Dika, not that impressed because she was more focused on the mathematical, but the voice of duality loves the expressionism. big ups for that. So you didn't do too great on the first check, but you did amazing on one check and pretty good on the other. Not bad. Tom, you've had pretty good amount of time now. Have you come up with anything?
The best thing I can think of is digitation can be used to make a small side effect, like showering sparks.
Yep.
I want to try and make a small, sun, like a small ball of flames.
I would like to point out, prestidigitation doesn't just make sparks. You can make any magical trinket or illusionary image that can fit in your hand.
Yes, but I said that I'm going with I was in here earlier and I can make a sword, and they said because it's a solid object.
Well, yeah, but prestidigitation is not a solid object.
Yeah, but I'm going to go if I make a solid object. My brain would be, if I make a solid object, they're going to say it's not an illusion.
Technically, I did make a real fire and just change how that fire behaved,
yes,
technically.
But he was in this class today, or whatever. He made a very ornate sword, and they said, yeah, no.
Yeah,
he's soft-locking himself into his thinking.
I agree. I completely agree with you.
Okay, well, to start with, Tom, so you're going to try and use Prestige to make a small glowing orb flame. So you're going to try and mold the sparks into just being an actual orb.
Yeah.
We're going to start with, you got to start with the persuasion portion of the exam. So you need to explain how this is relevant. You don't have to explain. You have to roll the dice and roll well.
24.
Look, there's one thing Gobble's good at, it's lying.
No, this is real. If it was lying, it would be deception.
Sorry, so he's explaining how this is relevant, which...
if there's one thing Gobble's good at, it's getting his thoughts across articulately.
So, yeah, because Gobble's like, look, now, generally speaking, right, this is an illusion, but, and he goes through a long, complicated monologue, which everyone is very surprised is coming out of his mouth, and he manages to eventually convince Dika that the floating magical orb is perfectly spherical and therefore relevant to the mathematically correct portion of the exam.
Hey, Gobble's pretty smart. He's the second smartest. Yeah, correct.
Okay, now we got to do that Arcana check.
That was good. Oh, actually, you know what? 23.
Very good, very good, very good. Okay, and then we're going to finish with the final check, which is they're going to ask you to make it into something else at the drop of the hat as a reaction. You'll need to make a deception check with this one.
Yep.
So they're asking you to turn it into a image of a silk ball, which you've at least seen one silk ball while walking around campus, so you managed to do that successfully because you're already trying to make an orb. They basically asked you to add more details onto the fire, which you, with a 14, you successfully do, so you actually rolled quite well. So yeah, you passed all 3 of the tests. Jasper got 2 of 3, but in one of them he did extremely well. Jasper, Millhouse is going to get a B+, and Gobble's going to get an A.
I should have changed one of Gobble's rolls to a 4.
You could have done it.
Could have.
You were in a class together taking it at the same time, and that's an ability you have available to you. You can do that. Do you want to see if there's anyone else in the class that you could possibly give a negative roll to, if you still have that?
I mean, I still. Is Quintilius here?
Yes, he is.
I make Quintilius fail in the initial form. I give him a 4, absolutely.
Yep. So after you give him the initial fail, he brings it back a little bit. His grade ends up being C+. We're going, as I said, we're going over to Arcanobotany. Okay, we're back in the Witherbloom campus, back at the Cave of Valrad, Classroom A. Class is being run by Eudora, the witchy little dryad woman. So as you enter the room, there's a bunch of wooden tables that are laid out, and there's a bunch of individual plants that are like potted plants that are lined up. One looks like one for each student. And it looks like the task is to, you know how previously you were studying about how to make potions?
Yeah.
This is make potions. So
Gotcha.
the ingredient, there's 2 different plants in front of you, one in a potted plant and one like a little bit of a baggie. And then you've got like a little bit of a cauldron set up. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you need to brew health potions. You need to successfully get the reagents out of the plant without damaging the plant, because if you kill the plant, you're going to possibly fail.
Yeah.
And then you need to actually make the potion. So what we'll do is we start off with a nature check. just to check the 2 plans you've got. Make sure you have read them, you know which one is which, and you know what to do with which one.
Okay, sure. Nature check +2. Yeah, that's a 4.
That's a 4. Looks like during your studying, you might have been focusing more on the actual making of the potion rather than the ingredients section. However, there is still a way to bring it back because it's harder for them to. She might have noticed that you might be struggling a little bit, but if you can just brew a really good potion, off the cuff, you might be able to bring this back.
Fingers crossed.
So we're gonna use DC. Oh, I can't tell you the DC, but it's a medicine check, and because you have brewer supplies and a herbalism kit, add an additional +4 to whatever your medicine is. So you're adding +8. You're adding +8 to this check.
All right. 18.
18. So you might have done the ingredients in the wrong order, but the preparation for the most part is relatively basic. It is mostly just boiling, stirring occasionally. You might have damaged the plant, the potted plant where you got some of the reagents from, but the potion comes out pretty good. And so, yeah, you successfully managed to craft a potion of healing. The teacher, Eudora, kind of brings you over to the side, and she notes on how you've damaged the potted plant, but otherwise very functional health potion. And so you're actually going to get a C+ in this area. Had you done everything perfectly, you probably would have gotten an A, but because you damaged a plant and she's a dryad, she grades pretty harshly on that part of the exam. Yeah. However, add a potion of healing to your inventory.
Thanks.
Oh, no, you had education phase attended. Steph, change it to a B from a C+. You had education phase attended. We're back. We're so back, baby. We're back in the Lawhold campus. Back in good old class 3E. Osgear is there and Nils is there. Oh yeah, so Osgear sort of stands up and he says, the languages of runes and magic, the languages of runes and the glyphs that underpin fabric of multiverse itself. Whether used in spellcasting, enchantments, or warding, these symbols will carry immense power. Nils says, we will begin with the fundamentals. You will learn how to inscribe these basic glyphs, and if you screw up, you will blow up this classroom.
No pressure.
So you have been provided a basic rune template, of which you need to copy the runes specifically using the tools that are provided. Let me have a look at your stats real quick. Because you have calligrapher's supplies, you will add an additional +2 to this roll. I will get you to do a sleight of hand check to start initially by copying the runes that you've been provided. So add whatever your dex mod is, +2 from your tools. Yeah, ew, dex. This isn't strength.
20 total.
20 total. With expert form, you managed to copy the runes nearly perfectly. And Nils comes over and checks your work, and he gives you a bit of a nod. He seems to be quite impressed. So now the second portion. So you've copied the runes, but do you understand what these are? Have your studies actually made you learn this runic language? So you need to perform an Arcana check to determine what runes these are for and what they're in relation to.
16.
16, not bad. So it looks like the main runes that you're copying are runes that would end up imbuing the power of light onto an artifact. So basically, to give something the light spell. I just need you to roll one quick insight check, because this is to determine what is the origin language of the runes that you're drawing in.
Oh, you're a cunt.
Oh, that's
7.
not great. It's not great.
It went from it's flipped from a 14 to a 4.
So while going for this exam, you were like, well, the last thing that we were discussing in class was giant runes, and it kind of looks like it could be giant runes. So you know when you just go with your gut and you're like, fuck it, I might be right. So you answered giant runes, and it was just like, incorrect. These are dwarven runes. But overall, pretty good showing on the exam. You're gonna get a B. You're graded pretty favorably, but the one that you fell on the hurdle is the bit of the exam that Nils grades, and Nils is a bit of a stickler.
Yeah.
And that will end the first lump of phases that we do.
Is Mitch at his class?
Mitch,
Yeah, no, he was
Mr. P,
first.
he was first. I've not missed
first,
anyone,
yeah.
correct? I believe I've done everybody.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Awesome. Guys, guess what? You'd level to level 2 if Guys, level 2! Woo! Yeah, let's go.
I assume when the module says they level to level 3, we'll go up to 4.
Yeah, probably. I reckon when we finish all of module 1 out of this, because there's like a couple modules, I'll level you to 4. You're meant to be level 3 at the end of that, but I'd level you to 4. At the end of your first year, you'll be level 4. Okay, cool. Next, so you go.
I was just gonna say, I do like the individualized segments. It's slow for sure.
It's slow, but it's fun.
Yeah, no, I
as
like.
As long as everyone can keep themselves entertained when they're not the main source of the section, I think that's the only thing. It's like usually a DM would be annoyed if you played something at a table. For the love of God, play something in the background.
Yes.
As long as you're not like getting overwhelmed / overworked.
No, I mean, realistically speaking, I only really worked on this today. I didn't really work on this yesterday. So this was mostly done with 4 to 5 hours of prep while I played TFTs, and I have every second exam for every class already organized. And for any classes that you didn't take an exam this week, and someone else takes an exam. I'm just going to reuse that exam. Say there's a class that I was done, I'm just going to use the day 1 exam because it's the first time anyone's done it, so I'll just do that. So technically speaking, even if someone, the next time we do this, which the next session will be an adventure portion, it won't be a exam portion, realistically speaking. We're just going to do whatever the adventure is, and that's probably going to take 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So basically, I don't even have to do another thing for classes until like a month from now, or 3 weeks from now.
Tomorrow.
Unless we played tomorrow, which we could. I don't mind.
I'm free whenever.
I'm busy tomorrow, actually.
That's fair. I really should do some more cleaning in my house and start boxing stuff up. I got to go Bunnings. I meant to go Bunnings today, but I was lazy. But yeah, that's where we'll end today. Good work, gang.